Hey everybody, how are you? Welcome to Patty's Playhouse. Happy Sunday. Hopefully you had a good Sunday. I did. Put my phone down. How's it going, everyone? Good? An earlier Patty show is the best thing ever. Well, I have a busy week. So I had to go home before midnight. We'll see. How are you, murder? I have a very large week this week. I have to get everything done in 3 days, which is not easy for me to do. Real estate world doesn't revolve around Patty's schedules. So I have a lot to do from like 7 o'clock in the morning tomorrow till like 9 o'clock at night. 21 degrees there, Debbie Gebby. I saw your photo. I am so sorry. It is just way too early to be that cold, people. 40s here. It's supposed to be very cold tonight in Tallahassee. Everyone's telling me, how cold are you going to be, Patty? Not that cold. It's 68. Tomorrow is a high of 55. Sweater weather. Patty's going to have a sweater weather. Kids are good. You have a new one. Debbie Gibby does daycare. I don't watch NFL and the Titans are losers. President is at the game you're watching now. What are my Eagles doing? I've been working all day. Let's see. Oh, they play tomorrow at 8:15. Monday Night Football. Play tomorrow. They play the Packers. I knew there was a whole flight full of Eagles fans going to Green Bay, but I didn't know what day that happened to be. Tater, you're in Tennessee. Was just reading about the helicopter crash flight from Vanderbilt. Helicopters are dangerous. Very dangerous. Murder only watches sports when there's trans competitors. Nice. The EU will love you. The EU loves you very much. Melissa says she'd do better if the government would get back to work. I heard there's a fragile negotiation thing going on right now. I haven't been on Twitter because I was working. And I'm going to try to focus when I'm focusing. The U.S. Senate was about to gavel in. And of course, if you haven't, you got to follow this Twitter account. It's X, I know, but I'm old, so I like to say Twitter. Because if you put Twitter in on your desktop at the search bar, it will take you to X. It forwards. Did Wendy Adelson get arrested today? It's Wendy for prison. They're only following one. Oh, it must be Jay. I bet it is Jay. I've always thought this was Jay Bronius's account. Now I'm almost 99% convinced that this is Jay's account. And he is just another asshole. It's so funny. But he goes through, nope, has not been arrested yet. So I suggest before you ask me, Jay might know in advance because he has this following. Was Wendy arrested? Ooh, the 50th anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald. One of my favorite. I'm so sad I did not go see Gordon Lightfoot in his prime. I really am. Because I know he toured around here when he was aged, and I heard it was horrible. So I didn't go because of the reviews, but I would have loved to have seen him in his prime. That's my, when you have people ask on Facebook or people ask random questions and they'll say, what album have you listened to that every song is fantastic, and Gordon's Gold is my album. Fleetwood Mac Rumors is another album, and the other one is Saturday Night Fever. Those are my top 3 that no matter what song you listen to, it's perfect. No, they won't. They're all millionaires, Melissa. Every single one of them is a millionaire. There are no broke people. Even AOC is now a multi-millionaire because of the stocks that they know in advance. They're allowed to have inside stock purchases. You make so much money also in the stock market. Here's Melissa. Yeah, they don't care. They don't care. They have no dog in the fight. Please like and subscribe. I have lost followers. Don't make me laugh, Patty. I have lost subscribers recently, probably because of my fat comments and Mandami, and I don't care. He is a crook, and you're all about to find out. And if you may not be a subscriber, but you'll be a listener because you'll still want to hear my opinion because you did before. And I don't care. I don't care what you think about my fat comments, and I don't care what you think about Mandami, as he's over in Puerto Rico on vacation in like an $800 a night hotel. Come on. He's loaded. He inherited money. He's never paid a bill in his life. Oh yeah, Thanksgiving travel. But how many people are going to be grateful for that, Melissa? I have purposely never flown on Thanksgiving. How many people are going to be grateful that Thanksgiving travel is like, oh, I don't have to go? I drive, and a lot of people the roads will be even heavier. So when I did go to Thanksgiving up north, the roads will be a nightmare. But I'm coming back from Italy the day before Thanksgiving, so we'll see. If I have to stay in Italy an extra couple days, it's not the worst thing that have ever happened to me. So I want to say hi to everybody. I'm like randomly picking. It's not my way. My gosh, what am I doing? So I said hi, Debbie Gibby. Hi, Tater Berg. Hi, Murder. Tater Bug. Mert. Hello, hola from Mexico. Mert, if you're still on here, remind me again which part of Mexico you're in. I need a dual language English-Spanish attorney in San Miguel. I think a big thing that's making them come to the table is John Thune kept the Senate open. That's what I think. Hi, Mr. C. Old Faithful he is. So many of you are. Which is fun when you come on here and chat and see the same people. It's so much fun. If you are any of you who are watching or hesitant about entering the chat, don't be. Don't. I rarely block people. You can say whatever you want, even when it irritates the admin. Wendy did it. How are you? Nice to see you. I haven't heard back from Jorge when I sent him John Smith's song the other day, but he rarely probably checks his webmail, I'm sure. Hey, Blue River. You know I did. I sent the song link with my real name. Hey, Julie. How are you? She fly. How are you? She's a Tallahassee lassie. Hey, Elizabeth 2024 FJB. How are you? I think she thinks like I do. Hi, Scott K. How are you? Jill, not Wendy. Hi, all. I love your profile photo. Super cute. Junebug, let's roll. Wild Wild West. Hi. Hello, Patty's gang. That's sweet. Ciao, everyone. Back from Venice. Lolly, how are you? I am going on Thursday to Venice. Thursday. My girlfriend's Irish, so I say Thursday. I'm going on Venice. 10 o'clock in the morning, as long as my flight's okay. My flight should be okay from here to Atlanta, and then Atlanta to De Gaulle, and then De Gaulle to Marco Polo. Yay! Howdy, none of your business. My hair looks elegant. Well, can I tell you a little story about this, Jill, not Wendy? So I went to bed at 7 o'clock last night. And I woke up at 8 and was late for church. So this is the hair that they got. This was the hair that I woke up at 8. Mm-hmm. Didn't have time to do the rollers. Didn't have time to do anything. I was tired. 12 and a half hours, 12 hours, 13 hours sleep, if I can add correctly. I have not done that since I was sick with COVID. That was probably the last time it's ever happened. And my husband, when he goes to church with me once in a while. He doesn't always go, but he likes to go. He's like, I'm going home and taking a nap. I was like, what the hell is wrong? What's wrong with us? We're all sleeping. Thank you. Loving the red and the hair. Thank you. It's like a raspberry pink, this top, but the lighting. I'm still working on my lighting. Hey, True Crime Wifey. How are you? Hey, Sandy. So anyway, people were texting me last night. I think True Crime Wifey was texting me. I think I gave her an emoji back because I was asleep. I was so tired. Patty's going away, but she's taking her selfie stick and power banks. And so I hope to go live while I'm there. Should be all right. Should be cool. Hey, Desiree. Hi, Susan Hicks. How are you feeling? You don't have to tell everybody here if you don't want to, but we're thinking of you. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Libby Lou. So I always do this like romper room thing. If you're new, you're like, why are you doing this? Because I was on romper room and I liked romper room and I like saying hi to people. Hey, Dreamweaver. Snow tonight in central Ohio. Here it will be 90. Oh no, Marta. My hair is different. It is flat. I don't like it, but thank you. It makes me, I'm not bald, okay? I don't got that KCL style going on, but because it's so light, it makes it look like it's thin and it's not, just an FYI. It's faux. First snow of the year here. This is crazy. Hi, Patty. Hi, Maureen. That's crazy. Supposed to be 35 in the morning. I'm so excited. I have so many cool winter clothes that I can wear now. I'm super excited. Hey, Brady from Western New York. You love it. I took it. So I got a perm the other day. This guy came on and said, if I don't talk about the Adelsons, I'm boring. So just so you know, I got a perm the other day, but she gave me a perm that I could wear my hair both ways. So that's nice. Because if it was wet, it would be like, whoop, little poodle. Oh, thanks, Karen. That's very nice of you. I think it makes me look older, though. It might be just self-talk. Hey, Chris. Dieters, 58 in the Pacific Northwest. I'm so glad I knew what that meant. Was -2 Celsius, now 8 degrees. Jesus, you're in that northern Alaskan zone. 88 in Arizona. My Pepsi drinker here. Hi, Armand. How are you? So we usually come on Sunday night. I like to chat, and I expect it next Sunday. I don't see a reason why not. I will just be, what will I be doing? What's the date? Oh, yeah, I'll still be at my last night in Venice next. Yeah. So November 16th, expect for me to go live because I'll be in Venice all by myself and I can go live. And that'll be exciting. I'm taking my webcam to hook up to my Mac, and the microphone may not be as good, but c'est la vie. When in Venice, do as Venice do. They're going to vote again in an hour. Okay, good. You just went through the postal worker strike, a teacher strike, and now airlines. Oh my. Love from Scotland. That's my next trip, girl. I want to go to Scotland. Maybe I can convince this very fun priest to go to Scotland. I think he wants to go to Israel next year. I just have a thing about that. I'm sure he does, but I would like to go to Scotland. That's where my son and daughter-in-law went on their honeymoon because her dad was born in Scotland. 90%. I'm unable to catch a live. First snow here in Michigan. Hey, Michigan. Michigan. Hey. You had front row tickets to Lightfoot and found out my ex was the MC. Oh, honey, you should have gone. Screw that bullshit. I'll tell you what. I've never been a fan of mine. That's why he's an ex. But he's baby daddy. And I would still go. And I would look hot. So with that, with the 18th or 19th, right before Thanksgiving, it would be an early Christmas gift to the world. Hi, Rich Auntie. It is one of my favorite songs. The whole album is just amazing. Insider trading. Thank you for the word. Hey, Libby Lou. Thank you so much for being a member. Welcome. I know. I would have balled on Gordon too. Like, it's just Leisure Linda. What a great name. Dark Side of the Moon. Did you guys see Mick Fleetwood playing the drums at USC? He was playing to Tusk. Pretty cool. You saw Queen with Freddie when you were 9. My first, so embarrassing, but I loved him. I still do. My first concert was Barry Manilow at the Reading Theater. My sisters took me. It was my Christmas present from my parents. And I loved him. And I still love him. And I acted like, I don't know why I didn't know he was gay all those years, but my second concert was Rick Springfield with my sister. She took me. So nobody fabulous. He is a monster. But I don't care. I've told people, subscribers go like this. And who are you to be if you can't be yourself? Like, sorry. Why would you even bother with me? My gifted membership, thank you, ended, but I added myself again. Really like listening to you and really like the chat. Thank you, Libby Lou. I'm glad you got a gifted membership to try it out. Today, I saw a news story about TSA pre-check in Houston being incredible. Imagine security is going to be unbearable. I have TSA, so pre-check. I just got it. So I'm happy about that. Ooh, Leisure Linda. On Friday, you called Georgia Kappelman's office. What happened when you called? Yeah, if I could stay longer, I would. Don't ever go to a large theme park after Thanksgiving. How about for Patty? I wouldn't go to a large theme park. People, Disney people love Disney. We went 2 years ago to Universal, and it wasn't bad over Christmas. It wasn't bad at all. Rained, but it wasn't bad. Thanksgiving Day is the best day to travel. Yeah, because everybody's there. New bot on Reddit threatening peeps who say negatively on Wendy. Okay. It's probably Glenn Thomas as a, or it's Jorge. It could be Jorge. Threaten me. The beauty of it is it's discovery. So if they want to sue me, there's discovery. Here's lovely. Thank you, Caroline. Jules says it's not up to Georgia. In the end, it is up to Jack Campbell. You're scared to enter the chat, Scott. Georgine, loved your rant the other day. Aw, thanks. It is a rant, though. I think back afterwards, and I'm like, God, what would your parents say? But in the end, my dad would be cool with it because I stood up for myself. He's always been like, do not. Someone sent me an email saying that I made fun of her over SNAP benefits. I had no idea what I said that she thought I made fun of her specifically about SNAP benefits. I don't recall that, but maybe you all do because you all have better memories than I do. Like, SNAP, I made fun of you over SNAP. I might have made fun of your opinion over SNAP because if you think receiving SNAP is okay and you're an illegal, it's not. Or I don't even know what I would have said, but there was a news clip on CNN where this African American woman was going to her nail salon. She's going to her nail salon. It's like nails and eyebrows. And they said that the salon said they're going to have to fire 2 technicians because there's SNAP benefits are down, which just feeds into the narrative that people sell their SNAP benefits and then get the cash and then get their nails did. Like, that's what they're doing. I know that because it happened here. People are selling their SNAP. They want to buy shit on Facebook Marketplace and sell their SNAP. I'm like, just get out of my face. So that's why I said it in the beginning of all this nightmare. I said that what's going to be suffering is the nail salons or the eyelash extensions or sun tanning places. That's what's, dude, I walked in, what was it, a Monday a week ago? And to get my nails done, and I'll go this week before I leave. Look how long they are. They look so good. They're completely useless in life. I mean, I can barely function, but they're so good. And it was empty. Empty. On a Friday at like 2:00. Empty. Bullshit. People are actually simping for Wendy. Thanks, Karen. Just love the Wendy splatter. We're going to listen to more. Next year, Patty is planning a cruise for the Playhouse to have Mr. C. I mean, wouldn't that be fun? We could do it. Not Carnival, though. I'm not ever doing another Carnival cruise. So we'd have to do something else. Oh, the fair is open? Literally, I had no idea. So tell me. So SheFly, get this. So they came to me and emailed me asking to advertise on Living Tallahassee because it's a nonprofit. Meanwhile, they bought a $60,000 watch for the head of their nonprofit when he retired. $60,000. So I'm a libertarian, but I ain't stupid. So I asked them, I said, if you want to advertise, that's great because we do allow nonprofits to advertise on Sundays, but I would like fair tickets to give away. Didn't hear from them since. Fuck the fair. Fuck the fair. Like, you want me to make you money so you can buy some other fool a $60,000 watch, but you can't donate tickets for Living Tallahassee. Absolutely not. Never heard from them. Didn't ask her again. Told her what I wanted for her to advertise and she wouldn't do it. So there's no reason for you to advertise. You're the fucking fair. And that was that. Is Georgia waiting on Jeff Lacoste to become an expert witness? Yes, Roxanne. Good evening. That's funny. Venice is so exciting. I hope it's not too exciting. That's funny. Italy has the best food. Penny has the best information. Hi, Miss Lisa. How are you? You guys all love Venice. How many people have already been there? How many people have already been there? So my friends are from Italy, and I showed them home today, and I told them I was leaving Thursday, reminded them. So they're sending me a list of the places not to go. And I was like, that's my kind of list. Does anyone have one of those lists? The restaurants not to hit, the shops not to hit. I was like, that is a fantastic and very valuable list. That was pretty cool. Your 3-year-old patient is going to kill you. Oh, Pamela. Sounds fun. I hope it's fun. Atlanta airport has been a shit show. You better hope they reopen the government. My hair looks nice. Thanks, Rich. Beautiful color on you. Thanks, Rebecca. I wore it to the trial. It's the shirt that I've had. It's very big now, but I still like it. So I will be 6 hours ahead. You can always watch on replay. Well, today hairstyle may be easier on travels. My hair curled is easy. I don't have to worry about it like getting a hole in it. You know what I mean? You know how you get a hole in your hair? This gets a hole in my hair. See, this is my favorite angle. Kind of. Mic quit. I hit my mic. I was like, oh, he's definitely won because he won Pennsylvania. We were on a cruise ship. And I was like, because you can only watch what you can watch, right? But it was fun. My daughter was on Romper Room. Yep, I was on in Harrisburg, PA with Miss Marsha. And I was the tallest doobie. This is your first chat post. Hey, Random. Well, thank you. Nice to see you. You remember from 100 years ago. I know, I can't even help you. It's so old, but it's so fun. 6 hours. Yep. It's going to be 29 in Chattanooga. Wow. He did. Lolly, Murder by Maestro came and said, he reminded me, and we talked about Jennifer Kessie last show. We talked about her. Almost year-round footwear. Venice, Italy. Yes. Live from Venice. It would be fancy. Hey, Pamela. We should hear something about Sarah Dugan this week. Yes, Yellow Lotus, welcome. I hope so, right? I mean, what's it take? 37 in Knoxville. Yes, but you have the home of Leanne. Leanne Morgan. She's so funny. Go live in one of those little boats with a mustache guy. You think this makes me look younger? For real? Well, bless your heart. Thanks, Ms. Brown. I'll take it. Because I have my face. I've never done it, but my daughter's like, get it. So I have my face dermaplaned, where they take a razor to your face and then like take all the dead skin off. It was incredible. It was an entire paper towel full of shit all over my face. God, I was like, my God. And I cleaned my face. You've been living this girl who lives in Norway. They're beginning their polar night. Can you imagine 3 months without sun? I can't even go to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania and have 3 days without sun because that's what happens. Now it has some, it's cloudy, but ugh. I would like to go to Scotland and Ireland as well. However, we decided our next trip will be the Basque part of Spain that is connected by 15 minutes to the Basque area of France. Good for you. The Frog Dog Mom, happy to be here. Fuck what they think. Time in a Bottle is your favorite. I'll tell you what my favorite is. I never remembered song names, but let me get it. I really like the Edmund Fitzgerald, though. Softly. Softly, I love. God, it's a sexy song, right? Canada's Troubadour. You love Barry too? I did. My husband took me to see him in Jacksonville a couple years ago. Siam Bistro has pho on Sundays. Now you're hungry. You saw Freddie Fender. Oh. Then he unlocked himself. No, Freddie Fender didn't. I was thinking Freddie. Who was it? Freddie. He was an actor. Freddie Fender. Your first concert was the Monkees. Tragically hip. Never knew. Your first concert was Boston. My husband loves Boston. Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel. I think my favorite song from them is it My Town? Is it Small Town? Wait, let me see. I forget I'm not good at this, but I play it on the radio all the time. My Little Town. I was close. My Little Town is my favorite. You saw Cheech and Chong. I bet that was hilarious. Are you going to walk through the door at St. Peter Basilica? Yes, that is the purpose. Even though we're going a long way around, the purpose of the trip is to go through the Jubilee doors at St. Peter Basilica. We're going to the Sistine Chapel. We have a special not being in the regular line to get through the Sistine, which I'm very grateful for. And we're going to John Lateran, Mary Major, and I think there's another basilica we're going to. There's 4. You saw the Moody Blues. Yeah, they're dying off. Steely Dan, too. They're dying off. Blue Oyster Cult. Wow. Pre-check was unbearable. They're saying because of the staffing problems. Here's the problem with I'm probably going to get hate mail because it's funny to me anymore. But dude, when you took this job that there could be strikes because it's union and there could be shutdowns. You know that when you take the job is pretty cush. As a Fed, it's pretty cush. And you know that they could take a strike. That they could, it. It's like working as a nurse when I worked as a nurse up north. You could be stuck because of a snowstorm working overnight against your will. That. Here in the South, because of a hurricane, and you're working as a nurse or a first responder of any sort, you could be stuck working multiple shifts. It is just the job. So people calling out to be smart, I don't get. I do not get it. You're going to get your pay. You're getting it back. My daughter has to go in. She's on 712s. You think she's given up her job for that? And I said, well, Molly, what if you didn't go? She goes, that's not who I am. I was like, well, that's a good answer because I didn't think that's who you are. But she works for Department of Logistics. She runs a massive warehouse. If she doesn't work, massive equipment doesn't move. So I'm not quite sure that I understand. I'm just not going to work today to be pissed when you are getting the back money. And technically, none of us should be spending every cent we get. But that these are options every year. Every year this could go. Some of these people are like 20 years in and they're just not showing up. How does this make sense? I understand the cutbacks. I'm fine with that. I understand the cutbacks of flight because it is a lot of pressure on a family. It's a lot of pressure on the the airports, but you know that this is an option. I mean, what did we just read? There's teacher strikes, there was airport like up north. Italy, there's a strike every week. So I don't quite get it. You called Kappelman's office, and all the woman said was she would give Georgia the message. She said they do get many calls. Appreciate looks like you saw the Moody Blues. Good for you. Chat and hairdresser. My hair is so healthy. Thank you. Aw. BB Snow. That is a blast from the past. That's cool, YB. BB Snow. You went to Disney in Florida when I was 13. It was freezing. Never took our coats off. Reddit and bots go together like banana and cake. You need clear to get through fast. If the government shutdown is in effect, only way you'll get through fast, clear is private. TSA or TSA is the issue. Hi, PLN. Thank you. You wish you took typing in high school. You're a one finger. Oh, I was on the phone with the roommate I'm going to have on the ship because we're taking a Viking cruise. I had not met her. And I had reached out to her to be a Facebook friend a while back. And so we called each other today. And I was on the phone with her for like 3 hours. 3 hours. And I was typing. She was asking a question. I was like, I don't know. Let me look it up. And she was like, what is that? So the noise is my fingers. So what is Wendy? Free now? She is now. She is now, man. You have TSA pre-check by being AD military, but I am glad I'm not traveling this holiday season. I was a single mom and had to go on food stamps. I don't even understand. I was pregnant. No, man. My parents weren't talking to me because I got knocked up. I was just turned 20. It was a mess. They didn't even see my daughter till she was 6 months old. They were very Catholic and they were pissed. And I was like, well, the only option was to have the baby. So it wasn't, I mean, they would never have talked to me again if I'd taken any other option. But when I was 6 months old, then I got then I got pissed and I was like, now you're not. But then they wanted to see the baby. I was like, okay. I love my dad and mom so much. I have such an attachment disorder about them being gone. It's hard for me. And I was on food stamps. Yeah. So I don't see why I'm making fun of people. But I worked. I still worked. You know how hard it was to get a job and be pregnant? I had to do I worked in a dog food warehouse. I still have my pharmacy job, but I had to work more because I was pregnant. But you didn't make a lot of money. I started selling cars to make more money. Spanky's used car, Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Took me on pregnant. And it was brilliant of him because you know what you don't say no to when you're to a pregnant woman? You don't say no. So I would be selling all these used cars because I was pregnant. People couldn't say no to me. It was brilliant of Spanky. Yeah. People think, yeah. All of this luxury that I live in a warehouse. So I don't understand why the lady thought I was making fun of her. But c'est la vie. It is what it is. I was talking in general. I thought so too, but I'm telling you, if I call myself fat, people because you may resemble my build, I'm calling you fat. That's not even close to being true. You lied to your college professor about your brother to avoid failing typing. Did Donna and Harvey, they probably had what is that global entry? Oh, I said it shouldn't be a lifestyle. It shouldn't be a lifestyle. It says the first word in Snap is supplemental. That's what Snap is, supplemental. Now, a lot of people do work, but a lot of people are illegal receiving benefits. And if you tell me they're not, that's a lie. Because even in Florida, and I have it from the state representative who wanted to get into it with me, which I was fine. I love her very much. She's a great lady. She's a great state representative, but she's like, illegals don't get SNAP benefits in Florida. I'm like, but they did. She said, yeah, 2 sessions ago. So all the world up until 2 years, they got illegal benefits. So I have an opinion about it. You shouldn't. I cannot go to Italy and stay without having enough bank money in my bank account to support myself, or a job that says I can support myself that doesn't belong to an EU person, a citizen of the EU. That is their rule. I don't understand why the rules got so weirded out, but people being on SNAP for 30 years that don't even know how to work is not, I'm so sorry for you. I'm not sorry for you. I'm sorry for you, because that is, you have to be employable. Taxpayers should not be paying them. And then you have these people, which does not help the narrative. It may be true, it may not be true, on the TikTok. And they're all over the TikTok showing the food that the food banks give them. And it's like whole food, like a bag of apples, a bag of oranges, non-perishable food. So not a lot of meat kind of thing. But all of this food, and they're like, my children can't eat it. What about this can your children not eat? Allison Tant Richard, who's the state representative that I mentioned, she's going, everybody has a story. We all have a story. And she's going on. This lady emailed her and said, my son has this. I'm trying not to laugh. Such bullshit. My son has disabilities and he can't eat any of the food that the food bank provides. Are you kidding me? They provide peanut butter, beans, great. If your kid doesn't has allergies, there's options. What about a bag of apples? Can your kid not eat an apple? But that's what she said. I'm like, this lady is lying. What disability exists that your kid can't eat any of the food that the food bank provides? I challenge you on that statement. Now, she's not going to challenge you. She's going to believe it because it's a story, and then she reflected that story back to her constituents, and it makes it sound pathetic. So she uses that story to her constituents. Doesn't mean the story's real. Doesn't mean the lady telling the story is real. It's just a bullshit story. It's just like Mamdani. He said, my aunt, what did he say? My aunt came over here and she blah, blah, blah. The aunt doesn't exist. It was a lie. And then it was like his cousin's aunt, because he lied. So that's what I was talking about. It's not the real life story of our. They sell their SNAP. They didn't need it to eat. No, they need it for the stuff. What is SNAP for us Canadians? Yeah, maybe social assistance. I don't really know. I'm sorry, the two. They still need their haircut. Not on my dime. I got a D in typing first year college. I convinced teacher won't need typing since I was in the arts. And then you got a job in data processing. That's funny. I tell Sister Jude, she goes, they dropped the fake name and she's just Sister Christine, which is her given name. But I still call her Sister Jude. Sister Jude Christine, like I tell her, without you, I wouldn't have made a dime. Without many autistic kids will only eat a few items. Personal knowledge. I understand that, but what happens when World War III really turns? Like World War II, you have rations. I don't think people understand what will happen to the United States with $32 trillion worth of debt. Like, I don't think people get it. I don't. My husband's a picky eater, and I'm like, well, you better get over it, because this is life. I've told him that for 23 years, and he has slowly begun to like green beans. It's innocuous. It's innocuous. I think it was how his mother made them. But come on, Chris. Like at some point you can't turn away every vegetable. You're not allergic to it, just eat it. Snap used to be like, oh yeah, I love Snap peas. I just don't know. Hi, LaBelle V, wherever you are. All the food stamp office parking lots are filled with Florida, Alabama, and Georgia license plates on the cars. Florida allows it. Is there fun? I don't know. But I mean, he could be autistic. I don't know. But I don't have an autistic child. But if I did, life would be hard for the child, harder than it would already be. Because I grew up, you eat what you get. Like you don't get a menu option. So it's my husband there. He's probably hearing me. It would be really hard. My kids had to eat what was put on the table, right? Let me tell him. He's like, he sends me a text. Are you going to be home before 8? Yes or no? Add emojis to it. Yeah, my life would have been really hard if I had done that. Yeah, I hit my mic for a bit. So I'm gonna move this way. I mean, my kids, I never had them tested. But James could have been a little autistic, if you think about it. He was a difficult child. He was very challenging. He had his way and no way. Like he was the one that like eat your peas and he just would throw a fit. But I don't even know what to say to that other than my kids would have suffered. Like I was that kind of mom that your food will be on the plate the next morning. Last I checked, those skating machines at airports all say not to use if pregnant due to the death rays or whatever. China is tight. They search your car. Like, I can't wait until my daughter is old enough to get her own check. Your ass is sore, Dick Slayer. Well, that's what he said. Or people work just enough to be eligible for those benefits. You never heard of SNAP until the shutdown? Get out. Man, you stay on that farm, don't you? You can't afford strawberries and many more that you like anymore. Aw. We do have an entitlement culture. I just don't know why a third of our governmental budget is meant to be for people who either choose not to work or can't work. And that includes unemployment. Like Florida unemployment is shit. Like if you get unemployed in Florida, you're going to want to move because it's so bad. So bad. It's nothing. It's like 3 coffees a week is the cost. Like you get $200. It's nothing. No SNAP and canna, just a good hamper at Christmas for the needy. I don't even believe that story, Tanika. I just think a deal has been made. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. It says a deal has been reached to end the Schumer shutdown with at least 8 Democrat senators breaking from their party. Democrats will receive $0. Well, let me share. I'm reading this. Democrats will receive $0 for illegals nor Obamacare subsidies. That was a big deal. Reports state no real concessions were made by Republicans other than a handshake deal to hold a vote on the subsidies in December, which is very unlikely to pass. This CR will fund the government through January 30th and is expected to pass tonight. So, do you know? I mean, Obamacare, Obama's an amazing negotiator. I should study him because he got royalties off of like I think it's like 2 million. I don't forget how many millions, but he got royalties off of Obamacare. He got paid just a check from the government for even having Obamacare. I was like, what? And so, of course, Trump ended that, but I thought that was interesting. You went to Publix yesterday and really didn't buy a lot for meals, just some basics, $240. 1 pound of ground beef is $13. Oh my God. Do you guys have sales tax in Tennessee on food? I choose not to work now after 20 plus years. I might go back later, but we've never lived beyond our means. You need to buy meat at Aldi's. Honestly, it is cheaper for me to go out to eat than it is for me to cook at home. You've been on a bok choy kick. I don't even know how to say that. Sounds like Snap needs a good fraud detector. I wish they ID verification or something. Getting your nails done, paid for food better. Well, what they do is they sell it. So I know this to be true. My experience with someone fairly close to me. I said, would you run to the store and get me blank? Person who used to work here. And she said, yes. And I'll use my Snap card and it'll only cost you 50%. I'm saying, no, it won't. No, it won't. Mm-mm. Nope, it won't. I'll go get it. I hated vegetables growing up and only wanted to eat meat and cheese and rice. As an adult, found out I cannot eat vegetables, so I eat meat, cheese, and rice every day. You know, if Chris would eat rice, my life would be grand. He won't even eat rice. He won't even, well, he will eat rice if it's fried rice. Well, dude, it's just rice. It's a staple for over 1 billion people in the world. You ate what my mom could afford, so did I. And I do understand, I don't have an autistic child. And I do understand that there's a lot of anxiety about that. And it goes, but it's free. I don't know what to tell people. The only reason we have a government is to help all the citizens. Oh, Dieters. Dieters. You're chatting to a libertarian. Our taxes should never be what they are. The only reason to have a government is roads, education, which I'm against public education to begin with, roads and safety, infrastructure and safety. I'm very little on the taxes. Very little. Mm-mm. Nope. Imagine if you're not paying, well, the majority of the people who do pay United States taxes are the wealthiest. I know that they pretend that that's not true, but it is true. And you have to make at least $30,000 a year now because of the tax cuts to pay any tax. So over that, the tax, creeps up. But no. Roads, bridges, safety, and if you must, education and a library. That's it. Shouldn't be all the other stuff. We don't need all the other stuff. Imagine not having to pay all these taxes, how wealthy would be. Look at Saudi Arabia. Totalitarian for the most part, yes. But because they're so wealthy, because they pump so much oil, we're not even allowed to pump all the oil we could be pumping, right? Natural gas, we have more natural gas than Saudi Arabia has oil. Imagine if you pumped it and didn't have all the attorneys running around trying to sue everybody for saying the wrong word. Imagine what your life would be like. So it looks like it's coming. So that's good. Airlines can go back to work. People can go back to work. Be interesting. But yeah, I'm a libertarian, and that's why I'm a libertarian. I don't want to help all the citizens. I don't. Click, delete, unsubscribe, whatever you need to do to make yourself whoever that is. I don't know you, Dieters, but I hope you don't. But if you did, I understand. But no, 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 no. I should not be helping you buy a house. I should not be helping you. No. Educate your children. No. Mm-mm. No. I pay my own way. I pay for my own medical insurance. My husband's on the Medicare now, which is nice. I'm not going to lie. But imagine if we didn't have all these Medicare subsidies for all these doctors. Imagine how much wealthier the government would be. That's why Trump didn't want to give the Obamacare subsidies. It goes to the insurance companies. It doesn't go to the people. He told them, he came out, I think it was yesterday, let's write a check to the people and they can have their own healthcare savings account. Look what happened today. Insurance companies, I don't know if people are aware, John Smith didn't know what SNAP was, but I love you. Insurance companies run even the state of Florida. The car insurance, your health insurance, your life insurance, your homeowner's insurance. My car insurance doubled in a year. And they told me I sold 2 cars. I had 3. They told me that if I remove my husband, who can no longer drive a car, it would go up even further because I wouldn't have, are you sitting down? Multiple people discount on my car insurance, even though he doesn't have a license anymore. True story. Yep. Runs the world. And it's unbridled, the cost. Now, if I don't have an accident, I don't have a speeding ticket, I don't have anything, why don't I get a bigger discount? Why don't I get half my insurance back? It's a gamble, right? You're gambling, I am going to have an accident, which is why you charge so much. And I'm gambling, I'm not. But to have a car, you have to have car insurance. Well, I've decided for myself, I can't afford all that car insurance, so I sold 2 cars. So now I just have liability on the car I have paid for. That's what's going to hurt people. My health insurance through work increased hella for next year, and I have to submit my marriage license to prove my husband is my husband to have him on my insurance. Isn't that interesting? In case shit happens. But that's what I'm saying. The bet is that I'm going to have an accident. That's the insurance company. And I'm betting that I'm not. I lose. I live on the beach, so our insurance is homeowners, hurricane, and flood. It's obscene. No, we are. I don't think we're full of bleeding hearts. I don't know. I don't know. But all the politicians have. I know. I think we should all get what they have. Tater bug. I bet you're very healthy. I know. Obama phones. I agree with you in part, but why does the government need to be wealthy if not for the people? They don't need to be wealthy. They don't create anything. Okay, let's go to the Adelsons. I'll say it from there. The cost to run one of those trials is astronomical, right? Why is the defendant, if the money is available, why is her cost for her trial, court costs only like $3,200? It should be on a scale. That bitch has the money. She should pay for the flights of all those people to come in, all of them, the subpoenas, the costs, everything. They don't pay that. If you have the ability to pay, you should have to pay for the full trial you lost. Why does she not? I could have shit when I saw it was like $3,200. What? How is that the case? Charlie wrote his check like the second day after his conviction. Hold on, Brooklyn. Does Donna Adelson still get Social Security? Once the rule is, thank you for this question. Once she is incarcerated for more than 30 days as a convicted felon, then she loses their Social Security. A lot of Floridians are considering, I don't see how they can afford it. But I don't see how Harvey can afford, this is a bigger question, how Harvey can afford, he still has a mortgage on that condo. He's still paying attorney's fees. And why the hell would he use Zellman as the appellate attorney? Anybody? Anybody else? Anyone? Charlie gets the high-priced attorney Ufferman, and then Harvey gets Zellman, who's written, which I looked up, 4 appeals. 4. Grandma Gotti gets the shit appellate attorney, and then Charlie gets the Ufferman. Anybody know why? If you are a convicted felon in for more than, let me be sure because somebody will correct me. Hold on. Payments are suspended if they're incarcerated for more than 30 days and would be reinstated upon release. So that I was right, over 30 days. Wendy's big nose. Oh, yes, military. I said security. So that's what security. It ended, you had to fax them proof that you're married. Who has fax? Dental insurance is the biggest scam. Dentists are barbaric. Totally agree with the Adelson stuff. I'm curious though. Why are there, I understand that a lot of them have the free attorneys. That's fine. But if you have a private attorney and you have the money to pay the pure cost of the trial, why are you not reimbursing the pure cost of the trial? And you lost. Anybody? Charlie paid for his appellate attorney. Well, Miss $1 Million Buck Lady, she paid for hers, and it happens to be Zellman. He has cash stashed. Beer budget Adelson. He has to be running out of money. He has a mortgage on that unit. He has insurance on that unit. Even condo insurance, even though you only own the Studs Inn, it's still expensive. He's on the water. So he has to pay for the hurricane. $7,000 a month is between the condo fee. It's almost 8. So we'll say $8,000 a month between the condo fee and the taxes for Harvey. $8,000. $100,000 a year. He's not getting her Social Security anymore. So what is the max benefit? And that's if he paid into it, right? So I have an S Corp, so I don't really pay into Social Security, so my Social Security will be limited. What is the max benefit of Social Security? But let's say he paid in a salary. The max benefit is $5,100. So let's say he's there. He's losing hers because she didn't really work for so long. He's losing Donna's. So she would have had some sort of stipend, $1,200, say. That's gone. So that would have paid his condo fee and the taxes. Not his mortgage, because that was very high. How do you pay that? There won't be anybody left for Jill's attorney. No, they have Zelman. That's what I think, Wybie. Remember, appellants, those who lost a trial, will sometimes attack what trial counsel did during trial. It would be dumb to have the same attorney do the appeal. Can't go for ineffective counsel, can you? The max for Iowa is like $4,000 a month. I doubt Donna had much Social Security. I'm just giving her the basics. $1,200. He's a crook and crime pays. He has overhead at Adelson Acres Apartments. Well, he has not one English-speaking person living in those apartments that he owns. Not one. So who knows how he's gouging those people. A lot of the Florida snowbirds are wealthy. Burn through that money, Harv. Correct. Totally wrong. There should be no royalties for any bill. You are correct. Thanks, kisses. Incarcerated more than 30 days. Do you think we should pay for everyone to have an attorney who can't afford one? No. I don't. That's how that's Constitution work. I mean, that's the way it is. But they're very particular about that statement. Like if you own a house, like say you have no cash, but you own a house, you don't get the free attorney. Like you have to be truly destitute to get the attorney. Offerman did give an attorney on the lawyer right after Charlie lost. I want them penniless. That's the best thing that could happen, Leisure. I look all the time to see if he sold that condo or has it listed. If he listed, I bet it'll be private, so we can't look it up. Because you can do that. You can list it privately and not have it subject to MLS. It wouldn't go out on Zillow or Realtor.com. He could list it privately. Wow. My first ex-husband's degree is sociology. Can we check appeal docket to see who filed Charlie's notice of appeal? Yeah, hold on. First, what is that? DCA? God, forever. Motion for extension. Jesus Christ. Notice of appeal. Offerman. It's right here. Offerman. My well, thank you. They came from Firmo. You get 24% more if you delay to 70. Yeah, my husband took his early, which I'm glad he did. And, you know, because you may not live that. You may not live. That's a bet, right? Everything's a bet. We lost contact with my son's dad when he was 13 when we moved from California to Arizona. And he married this girl, and she was so jealous of me that every time I called, she changed her number. Oh, I'm so sorry. 5,000 max if you wait till age 70 to start receiving Social Security. Oh, you'd buy the debt for 10 cents on the dollar. That's funny. We agree, Leisure Linda. You are in the right spot. I was a teen mom when we were engaged. We were Catholic. My parents did everything in their power to keep us away instead of making us get married. I would like to find my son's dad. My son is 43. Send me an email. I'm good at this, Rosie. Send me an email. I'll put my email in the chat. And see if I can help you. I'm on someone's stepfather. I mean, someone's biological father. They grew up with their stepfather in like 45 minutes. So I can't guarantee it, but I'll try. Ooh, loved your show last night, Leslie B. I do wonder if prosecutor's strategy is draining Adelson's before Wendy, but not convinced of any strategy. Yeah. They took Jackie Fulford's special get convicted in funeral services. Amen. I don't know how she affords it, unless somebody was right that billionaire is just writing a check to John Lauro every week. I wonder what it looks like. Does Harvey have any rental income? Yeah, they have one. What is it? 13 unit is what they have left. Carl has a new short saying Harvey needs to be in purple as well. I can't disagree. You listen to Tamara Demko and you wonder about it. You know? If we put ourselves in George's shoes, we need a minute, get through the holidays and arrest Wendy in the spring. Well, our Rebecca belongs to a club. It's called Capital City Conservatives, I believe. And Miss Georgia is going to speak there November 18th, and I will be out of town, so I cannot go. But she will report back to us. See what she says. Orange would look nicer on Harvey than purple. She did not have her own life insurance policy on Dan. Remember, she tried to get it. John Steinbeck's plane type is temporarily grounded. The plane he flies for UPS. And he gets coins in the laundry room. I'm going to look into hiring a private investigator, but I don't know how much it's going to cost. I want him to be my grandkids, I should say. You can always let me try. If we put ourselves in George's shoes. Yes, I read that. So I was looking through. Let me get rid of some of these tabs because the screen won't like it. People are so upset about FSU. I'm trying to work through that information. Hold on. So Never True or Word has a video out that I'm going to share. And if you can go like and subscribe to him. Wendy Adelson police interview, family reference, and red flags. So it's about an hour if you want to watch this. He always puts out fantastic stuff.
Okay, but he might make it.
I don't want to give you that false
I'm sorry, I just
No,
thought
it's
he was
okay.
gone, and now I don't know what to tell. It's sort of a game changer.
Hours after Dan Markel was shot, Wendy Adelson sat in a police station, already talking about who might want him dead. And when she heard he might live, she called it a game changer. What does that reveal about her? Let's take a closer look. Welcome to Never a Truer Word, where we look at the words that people choose to use to see if they're telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. If you're new to this, what I do here is different from anywhere else. What I do is I strip away everything apart from the words that are said by the person at the center of the story. And then I use my process of statement investigation to give you the key to seeing deception, where the truth could be, and also the motivations of the person talking as well. It's a process that I use with investigators, with corporate clients, and with the media to get a deep understanding of what is really being said. So we're here with Wendy Adelson again, and the police interview that she gave just hours after Dan Markel was shot. She was taken to the police station to speak to the police, to talk to them, to fill them in on what she knew and what she thought might have happened. I've looked at this before. There's so many things. It's a 5-hour interview. And this one, what I'm going to do is take a particular look at how she deals with her family, bearing in mind that both her mom and her brother Charlie, they have now been convicted of being involved in this murder. How does she talk about them? Does it show she has any insight into what happened? That's what we're going to look at. And I want to pay particular attention to leakage. Now, leakage is when what's inside our head comes out, because it's hard to stop whatever is in our mind from being present in our words.
Does anyone know this? Didn't Charlie say on a phone call to Donna in 16 that Wendy had $2 million? I don't know. That's a great question.
Particularly if we're being stressed. Now, there's lots of times that we all do this. You know, you're thinking about something, but you don't want to say it out loud, but you're holding the thoughts inside your head, and it's very hard to filter out absolutely everything that's inside your head. It's hard work. So let's pay attention to leakage when we listen to the words of Wendy Adelson talking to the police.
I have a lot of friends.
I know.
How do you know that?
Well, you had two of them up there for a last-minute lunch date, right?
Last minute?
Well, I mean, you went up there, you're sitting with them, you had friends.
I do. What I meant by it is that Danny didn't treat me very well, and I'm
Okay.
so scared that maybe someone did this. Not because they hate Danny, but because they thought this was good somehow.
Oh, are you saying that you think maybe one of your friends would have done something
Who
like
would
this?
do this?
I don't know. That's why you're here, and that's why we're talking. Would you ever ask someone to do something like this?
Not in a million years.
Okay. Do you think someone would do this for your benefit without asking you?
No.
What good does it serve?
I made my brother, his name is Charlie, the one I'm really close to. He makes a lot of jokes in bad taste, and it was a joke he made. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken, and I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay to fix it or whether I should get a new one, and it was always his joke that, like, he knew Danny treated me badly, and it was always this joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman, and it was cheaper to get you this TV, so instead I got you this TV. I mean, he would never. He's my big brother, and he's been taking care of me since I was little, but he would never. And I told that to the repair guy this morning.
Right. That's okay.
I said, he asked me how much it cost.
Why would you tell any of this shit to a repair guy? Unless somebody said something yesterday, I read, I'm sure it was like a TikTok thing. It said, when you're the victim, you talk about the trauma, but when you're the perpetrator, you talk about the victim. And I immediately went to Jill.
And I said I didn't know because it was a gift, because my brother said it was cheaper than a hitman. It was my divorce present.
Okay.
Such a horrible thing to say. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
But even my family, who felt like I had been mistreated, would never do something like this. Never.
Wendy likes to talk, which is great for this channel when we're only looking at the words that people say. She's perfect to study. She starts off that extract by saying, I have a lot of friends, and the detective says, I know. And Wendy says, how do you know that? Now, this for me is kind of classic. Is she wanting to check up on what the detective knows about her in a suspicious way? You know, that's what this could be read at. I have a lot of friends. I know. How do you know that? She's wanting to know a little bit about the investigation there, how much the detective knows about her. It certainly is a red flag for me. And the detective's response to how do you know that is, well, you had two of them up there for a last minute lunch date, right? And Wendy says last minute in a questioning way, as in, wow, this detective seems to know a lot about me. How do you know it was last minute, detective? She seems to be really interested in how much this detective knows about her. Now, that could be because she feels she's suspect number one, top suspect, the ex-wife of the person that's just been shot. However, she does seem to be digging in here to see just how much the detective knows about her. It's a red flag. The detective says, well, I mean, you went up there, you're sitting with them, you have friends. Wendy says, I do. What I mean by it is if Danny didn't treat me very well, and I'm so scared that maybe someone did this, not because they hate Danny, but because they thought this was good somehow. Now, the first thing I pull out in...
I have a question. Who said it? Leslie said somebody stewing, that Charlie stews over Wendy. I have a question. Anybody here, sociology, psychology, whatever's ology it is? No, and it's always been a fascination for me with this family. Why are they not flipping on each other? What about I'm going to save my own ass tied to the family does not occur? Why has Charlie, who has everything to lose, not, I can understand not on his mother, but not on Wendy? Is it like me where I didn't want to disappoint my dad? And so if he flips on Wendy, he'd be disappointing his mother? He's in isolation 20 hours a day. Why is the family still so tied? What is the psycho bond there? Does anyone know?
All of that is Wendy's mind has jumped to the fact that Danny has been shot because of, number one, someone angry at Danny, someone wanting to eliminate Danny from the picture to get their anger across at Danny, or to take away the anger by getting rid of the problem. That's what her mindset is when she talks here. She says, I do. What I mean by it is, and this is her saying, this is why I said I had a lot of friends. She's in.
So don't give up the parents. Charlie could have easily gone, testified, said what Jackie Fulford said in closing arguments instead of saying during the trial. She was a meddler, not a murderer. Perfect line. Should have been said the whole way through. Should have been proven, which you can't do, but here we go. Why not? Why didn't he get on the stand? And he said it to that Hub blog, whatever that is, after the trial. He said, I couldn't do it because of my appeal. Even though it's this much, I have a chance for an appeal. I want my appeal more than I want to save my mother. So flip on Wendy.
Introducing the further thoughts here on I have a lot of friends. This is why I mentioned that, is that Danny didn't treat me very well. So not only is she at this point talking about the fact that this must be or could be her priority, her first thought is that this is kind of revenge for how Danny treated her. It's not just general anger, it's anger about the way that Danny treated her. This is what she jumps to when she's heard that Danny is being shot. And she says, I'm so scared that maybe someone did this, not because they hate Danny, but because they thought this was good somehow. So this is not someone.
What he's saying now goes back to what Wendy said on the stand a couple trials ago. I did nothing wrong. Doesn't mean she didn't do anything. Just says she did nothing wrong. She doesn't feel like whatever she did do to help this murder occur, the conspiracy side of it, was wrong. Like this person said on the TikTok, was brilliant. I just thought it was so brilliant. When people are ranting and the victim is talking about the trauma, that's their experience. When the perpetrator is talking about, you know who the perpetrator is because they keep talking about the victim. You know who the victim is because they talk about the trauma. That was the quote. And she said on the stand, I think it was Charlie's, no, it was to Chris DeCoste. It was, I didn't do anything wrong. Not that I didn't do anything.
Angry at the way that Danny has treated Wendy. That's not what her thought is, and she's saying this in her words. She's saying that Danny may have been shot for a good reason. And if that is because Danny didn't treat me very well, then that's got to be to stop the bad treatment. But she's gone straight away to the fact this was a targeted attack, someone targeting Danny because Danny didn't treat her very well, in her words. She doesn't seem to think or ask any questions about, is this a robbery gone wrong? Is this a random attack? Was someone with mental illness or anything like that? Or wrong place, wrong time? No, it is the fact that her mind jumps to the fact that this would have happened because of how Danny treated her, and it made people angry, and maybe people thought that doing away with Danny would be a good thing. It's the first thing she says. And as we go through this, it seems to be the only possibility that she considers. The detective says, oh, are you saying you think maybe one of your friends would have done something like this? And that seems to be what she's saying. I've got a lot of friends, and the reason I mention I have a lot of friends is Danny didn't treat me very well, and someone might have thought that shooting Danny was a good thing to do. So the detective naturally brings this up. Oh, are you saying that you think maybe one of your friends would have done something like this? Now, this is a yes-no question, and she doesn't say yes, and she doesn't say no. Red flag there. She's not answering the question directly. Instead, she asks a question back. Who would do this? Now, the reason that we answer questions with questions very often is to buy ourselves thinking time, because that's a question I don't want to answer without giving it some thought, without thinking, do I say yes or no to this? What is the right answer? What is the best, most beneficial answer to me? Which answer can I give here that causes me comfort, not stress? And if that doesn't come like that very quickly, then what we can do is we can ask a question and reply to the question. We don't really want the question we've asked being answered. We just want to buy ourselves some thinking time. And she says, who would do this? The detective says, I don't know. It's kind of like, this is what I'm asking you. That's why you're here. That's why we're talking. Would you ever ask someone to do something like this? That's another yes/no question. Yes, I would, because I'm like that. I'm a vindictive person. Or no, I wouldn't ask someone to shoot someone on my behalf. She doesn't say yes or no again. She says, not in a million years. Huge big answer. Not in a million years. So she's not answering these questions here about, would one of your friends have done this, or someone you know would have done this, and would you have asked someone to do this? She doesn't directly answer those questions with just plain simple yes or no's. She asks a question and then goes really big with this, not in a million years.
Hey, Max, happy birthday. Everyone say happy birthday to Max. Everybody say happy birthday. He is not related to the Adelsons in Vegas. That's a different Adelson branch. They're not related. And their money was finite. So a couple years ago, Mary Hull, forensic accountant, got on the stand and said at that time, between cash and assets that she could find, it was $8 million. So money was finite, wasn't forever. And half of that, more than half, I bet, is gone. More than half.
The detective says, okay, do you think someone would do this for your benefit without asking you? And she says, no. Now that's a yes/no question. And for the first time in this sequence, she answers a yes/no question with a no. Do you think someone would do this for your benefit without asking you? She says no. Now that could be taken as her saying, if someone was going to do this for my benefit, they would have asked me first. Because do you think someone would do this for your benefit without asking you? No. Bang is her straight, immediate answer. Now remember, earlier she said she was scared someone would do it for her. Now she says that the person would ask her first. Let's just check back in her words. I'm scared that maybe someone did this, not because they hate Danny, but because they thought it was good somehow. And then when she's asked, do you think someone would do this without for your benefit without asking you? She says, no. We could decode those words to say that she is fairly sure that if someone was going to do this for her benefit, they would have asked her first. The detective says, what good does it serve? And Wendy talks about her brother. So what good would it serve to shoot Danny? She talks about her brother, Charlie. I mean, my brother, the one whose name is Charlie, the one I'm really close to. He makes a lot of jokes in bad taste, and it was a joke he made. So she really wants to get this joke in to the point where she's got the concept of it there straight away. And he made a really bad joke about a hitman. It was a joke he made. And she's getting a little bit stressed and nervous now because the next thing doesn't make sense. It's got a misspeak in there. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken. Now, he didn't buy the TV that morning. We know that. He bought the TV a while ago and it got broken and then it was being repaired that morning. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken. So she's saying the TV, pivotal in this story that she's telling, and the fact the TV was being fixed that morning. Now, that doesn't imply guilt. This is not an accusation. This just shows where her mindset is, which is that the TV that was central to what was happening with her that morning was bought by Charlie. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken. That got broken. Very passive as well. Not that the kids broke, it's just got broken. And I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay to fix it or whether I should get a new one. And it was always his joke that, like, he knew Danny treated me badly, and it was always his joke. He said, I know, I looked into hiring a hitman and it was cheaper to get you this TV. So instead I got you this TV. Now let's break that down, because she seems to be tying in the fact that they had the conversation that morning of should we pay to fix it or should we get a new one? And it was always his joke. So it's not just the joke he told that morning, and we know this, but look, this is important because it's coming out in her words. It was always his joke. He made this joke a lot, is what she's saying. He knew Danny treated me badly. So look, we're having a conversation here where she's saying, I'm wondering if this has happened because someone thought it would be good for me. And she's talking about Charlie, and she's talking about the joke that Charlie made, and also a kind of motive for Charlie. He knew Danny treated me badly. Now, let's bear in mind, Charlie has been convicted of being involved in this murder, of commissioning the murder of Dan Markel. He was firmly involved that day. And that morning, according to Wendy, he was making jokes about the hitman. Interesting. He knew Danny treated me badly, and it was always his joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman and it was cheaper to get you this TV. So instead I got you this TV. If nothing else, Wendy should be looking at this going, he's now in prison for killing Dan Markel, being involved in the murder of Dan Markel. And that morning, he was making hitman jokes. There should at least be some disgust there in her when she talks about it now. I don't think there is. And then she says, he would never. Now, never is such a word. It comes up in deception all the time. Never really means not at any time. Not at any time. Not once. Not at all. Not in the past, not in the present, not in the future. That's what never means by strict definition. But we use it loosely all the time. By the way, there's a link in the description to this to sign up for my newsletter, because I collect people using the word never and then saying, I didn't actually mean never, I meant something different. There's always one of those in the newsletter, just to prove how never is used. And it's such a concrete word by definition, but in practice, never is often deceptive. It doesn't mean it as concrete as we think. And then she says, he was my big brother and he's been taking care of me since I was little. Now, he was my big brother. I'm sure that's what she says. It's a little bit indistinct, but I believe he was my big brother. And I wonder what is going on there. What I think might be going on there, and I had to go to my own family history there, is that when you're a child, your big brother or your little brother or so on is quite a relationship status thing there, because that person is older than you, much more experienced than you, much better educated than you, much more able than you, and so on, when someone is your big brother, vice versa for like a little brother. And then as you grow up and you become adults, you become much more equals. So I think that's why he was my big brother. I think of my sister. She's 10 years younger than me, so she was my little sister for so many years. Now we're both adults, she's more likely to be my sister. She was my little sister, now she's my sister. I think that's what's going on there. He's been taking care of me since I was little, but he would never, and again, she doesn't finish the thought off. He would never what? He would never what? Because she said before, he would never. And she doesn't finish the thought off there. And again, he's been taking care of me since I was little, but he would never. And I told that to the repair guy this morning. So this is coming out in a bit of a jumble, but we don't know what Charlie would never. She can't bring herself to say it. She can't bring herself to commit to saying it. But the thought is really there in her head, correctly, that Charlie could have been involved with this. He's been taking care of me. He knew Dan didn't treat me well. He made jokes about hiring a hitman. It's all there staring her in the face. And then what she really wants to do is say she told this to the hitman this morning. She told this to the repair guy this morning, not the hitman. She said this to the repair guy this morning. She wants to get that out there. I'm guessing in case they speak to the repair guy and says, yeah, she made a joke about a hitman and then he gets shot. Wow. She's getting ahead of this there. This is what's important for her to say, not what Charlie would never do. But I passed this joke on. I said, he asked me how much it cost, and I said I didn't know because it was a gift, because my brother said it was cheaper than a hitman. It was my divorce present. Such a horrible thing to say. I'm so sorry. She's apologizing for something there, probably apologizing for this off-color joke, I think. But she is certainly apologizing. And the guy says, that's okay. And then Wendy goes on. But even my family, so she's fixated on mentioning her family. Now, she started off by saying, I have friends, maybe friends who would think doing this would be a good thing, but she hasn't mentioned any friends. What she's mentioned is family. Charlie, even my family. And that's wider than Charlie because she's talking about Charlie, and now she's widening that out to family. Even my family, who felt like I'd been mistreated, would never do something like this, never. Now, lots of words in there that need looking at. My family who felt like I had been mistreated. So that is not think that I'd been mistreated. No, I'd been mistreated. Saw how I was mistreated. Just felt like I had been mistreated, which suggests potentially there's something going on there where maybe even the family are more angry than Wendy was at this mistreatment. Maybe Wendy was part of it and kind of knew Dan and understood the ups and downs they were having. But the family felt she was being mistreated, or maybe the family were trying to make more of this mistreatment, trying to paint Dan out as an abuser, as someone who mistreating Wendy, whereas Wendy knew he wasn't really. He was just fighting for what he wanted and what he thought was right. The family felt like I had been mistreated, would never do something like this. Never. That word never is there again. And it's not would never organize a hitman, it's do something like this. So she's not being very direct with that never that is there. It's just my family would never do something like this. So in that first part that we've looked at there, very confused messaging from Wendy. You know, there's definitely some stress going on there. She doesn't quite know what it is she's saying. She misspeaks it sometimes. She brings up friends, but then talks about family. She is frightened. In her words, she's frightened that someone did this on her behalf. The family mentions are all unprompted. She brings the family, Charlie and the family, to the table. The detective doesn't ask about them. And she's very focused on it being a targeted shooting, that Dan was killed for a reason. And that reason was how he treated Wendy, or the fact that Wendy's life may be better, maybe good, without Dan Markel around. That's what's in her head. Later on, we are going to see Wendy phone her mom, Donna, to tell her that Dan has been shot. As we know, this is her letting the person who organised the crime, was involved in organising the hit on Dan Markel. This is Wendy letting that person know that it happened. That's going to be fascinating to break down. Let's get some more now in this police interview with Wendy Adelson.
Well, you guys have been divorced for over a year. Has there been any type of abuse in that time?
Of him towards me?
Yeah.
No, it's, he's litigious, and we have an ongoing case because the house, it shouldn't be, I don't know, it shouldn't be in my...
Dan was litigious? Dan's litigious. It's Dan's fault.
Name anymore, but when we settled the case of our divorce, he said, one of the agreements the court said was, Danny wanted to stay in the house. They said, you can have the house, but you need to pay her half of the amount of what the house is worth. And he agreed to it, and then months passed and he just never paid me. Okay. And so we have ongoing litigation where I filed a motion in the court to have him pay me what he said he would, and he filed a counter motion for sanctions against my attorney because he thought that she did something wrong, which she didn't. But so, I mean, she withdrew from the case and was going to serve as a witness. I mean, she's not going to.
Dan's litigious. I don't have all the factors that our Carl Steinbeck has, but let's talk about Dan being litigious. You stole the ring. It wasn't your ring. You didn't want the ring. You've hidden the ring. You have the ring. You're a bitch for keeping the ring. The kids, you made very difficult. You didn't uphold your custodial agreement, your MSA. You ended the Zoom calls with your attorney's permission, which is probably why he went after her. I don't know that to be true, but that's my assumption. Because she told you, because she didn't get her $10,000 to end the Zoom, which is interfering in custody, she should have had trouble with her license. She should have. You ended the Zoom. You gave him a hard time about every piece of fucking Zoom there was. You walk up to the Whole Foods and you turn around and walk to BurgerFi, which is out of business now. You walk to BurgerFi because you were afraid he was going to see the kids and the kids wanted to see him more than they wanted to see you. But he's litigious. That's just a couple things. He had to fight in court for everything because you were non-negotiable. You thought everything that you said, because you're the mom, wrong state lady, was the way it was going to be. Wrong state, because this isn't the state for that. It's no fault of state, and it's automatically assumed 50-50, and you were just going to be a bitch, and that's what you were, a bitch. He wouldn't have been litigious if you would have held your part of the bargain. You didn't even tell him where you were for the first few days. He didn't even know where his kids were. And then you went all semantics on Chris DeCoste when Chris DeCoste was trying to point out the fact that you didn't tell anybody where the fuck you were when it came to Dan. Litigious. And you wouldn't allow the grandparents, the paternal grandparents, to see the grandchildren. You still won't. So they had to go litigious. But now it's their fault because they want to see the kids. That's what kind of twisted bitch she is. That's why I keep calling her a fat ass, because she is. He had to fight in court because you would not agree or stand by whatever you agreed to. You lied on your financials. Sue me. You'd have to show it in discovery. You lied about the ring. You said if Lazar gave you, if Uncle Laz asked you for the ring back, you would give it back. You never did. You're a fucking liar. Everything you say is a lie. But Dan was litigious. There's my factors.
Lashed out at him for it. She's using the legal process to do it. My parents are, very angry towards him. But even when they're around my kids, they would never say a bad word about my kid's father. They're really, really careful about that.
Really, really careful. And yet we have a letter.
They dislike him, but they know he's the father of my kids. They would never do that.
Right.
I don't know who would be angry enough with him.
Well, that's what I have to find out.
To do something like this.
Debbie's reminded me, because she has a mind like a vault, that, which I'm very grateful for, that Uncle Laz wrote a letter asking for the ring back and she still didn't deliver. So don't fucking tell me about litigiousness.
The brother that you're real close to, I have to do a lot of elimination at the same time. The brother that you're really close to, the one that joked about the TV and everything, what'd you say his name was?
Charlie.
Charlie, and he's in Fort Lauderdale?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me what kind of car he has.
He has like 5 cars.
Okay, tell me all of
He
them.
drives I think one of them is an unmarked police car.
Oh, really?
He's a bit of a character.
Okay,
So I don't know what he's driving at the time.
right.
But I'll tell you, he's a periodontist, and he has this practice where he works.
I don't think so, Candy. I bet she is kissing those boys' asses. I bet whatever those boys want, they get. I don't know this to be true. This is an assumption, but it's a pretty educated one, because when you give your kids whatever they want, they don't leave your side. They're not going to leave your side. She's got pseudo wealth. She probably pretends like she has more money than she has. And I bet she gives them everything, because the second they start him hawing, I want to go to Toronto, she's lost all control.
From early in the morning till late at night. So if you ever wanted to find his whereabouts, he's working all day long until early in the morning till late at night. Always driving to a different office, working.
Oh, he goes to different offices?
Yeah, he works in different offices all over South Florida, does implants for people. And he works really hard all the time. He has a girlfriend, so he's pretty much accounted for all the
Charlie,
time.
what's his first name?
I mean, is it just me, or is Wendy really boring? She can yak on and on and on. Shock, trauma, potentially. The detective says, you guys have been divorced for over a year. Has there been any type of abuse in that time? Another yes/no question. And what do we get from her? Of him towards me? The detective confirms yes. And she says no.
Here's what I know about the boys, because I don't care anymore. They're private sports coaches. Now, there's money there. Okay, it's not Jorge's money. He's a slacking work. I mean, he's starting his own business. We've seen that. Probably makes $150, maybe $175. Not huge money, not small money either, right? So upper, middle, whatever. He's not the billionaire. He's not related to the billionaire. It's nothing about that. He can't even afford someone to do his real website. He's probably writing his own WordPress website. I know that because it's a shitty website. So there's not a ton of money there. They're paying for private coaching. They're going to public school. They're paying for private basketball coach. Lincoln plays basketball. I don't know if Ben's still playing basketball. He's the taller of the two. They have they're in a private, not just the public high school team, but then a private school team. They still travel. They dress well, right? But they're going to an upper middle, like an upper class high school, still public high school, but upper middle, like Miami one was. From what I'm told, they moved into Austin, into another area of Austin to get into the better high school because of sports, not because of grades, but because of sports. So it's my guesstimation. My children were children of divorce. They went with whoever would tell them yes all the time. I was not that spouse. I was not that mom. I was a stricter mother than their father. So they would hang, they're like water, right? Teenagers are like water. They're going to go to the least problematic of the two. Because if I put food on your plate, you're going to eat it, or you're not, but you're going to eat it the next day. Divorced or not, I didn't care. And that's why I'm deriving this brainwashing 101. Now, there's no other spouse she has to compete with, but she has to compete with CNN, Dateline, Fox, 2020, ABC, all of YouTube, all of Instagram, all of X, all of those other things she has to compete with. So there's a lot of pressure on her, which I enjoy very much and will continue to add to the best way I can. And that's why I think whatever those boys want, they will get.
No. So she does a no in the answer to the question. Has there been any type of abuse in that time? She clarifies of him towards me. No. Now that's interesting, is because has there been any type of abuse in that time? Just no. But of him towards me? Why did she need that clarification? Has there been abuse from her towards him? Would the answer be different if he was asking about Wendy? Have you abused him, or has there been?
Which I gotta say, ain't no holla back, girl. Is that not irony? Is that not irony that she's with a guy who has the worst teeth of probably any guy she could date? Is their teeth, if straight, would be beautiful because they're large and white. But like, dude, it's so ironic that she dated the anti-orthodontist, anti-periodontist guy and the guy. Hugely
Any
ironic.
abuse both by either way? No is what she says though. believe that. There has been no abuse because she gives a very straightforward no answer. No abuse from Dan to Wendy. But in Wendy's head, is it possible there was abuse from Wendy towards Dan? Seems to be what's implied in those words there. Then she goes extra. She says things that she hasn't been asked for. She's answered the question. Has there been any type of abuse? No. But she goes extra. She wants to tell this story. It's important for her to get this story out. He's litigious, and we have an ongoing case because the house, it shouldn't be, I don't know, it shouldn't be in his name anymore. But when we settled the case of our divorce, he said, or one of the agreements the court said was, Danny wanted to stay in the house. They said, you can have the house, but you need to pay her half the amount of what the house is worth. And he agreed to it. And then the months passed, and he just...
So, murder. They will have their own internet access and start having partners of their own, girlfriends, which they already do. Only thing stopping them turning on her and asking questions is not wanting to hurt their mother. What do kids do? And I said it earlier about myself. I got pregnant. What do kids do when they don't want to hurt their parents? They do it behind their back. They're going to do what they're going to do. They just do it behind their back. She cannot control every moment that the boys are awake, obviously. They go to public school. They're going to have computer access at school. I don't care what last name they use. But if one is interested and one isn't, the one that's interested will find out. I've talked earlier about my stepson. He was adopted at birth. While his mother was alive, he was always curious, but he didn't do anything about it. So that, was lovely of him. But when she passed, he went and looked. Now, he could have done it behind her back. It would have been a lot harder because the way she was, but it was harder. But he still wanted to do it, and he still did it. So it may not be the year or the month that these boys choose to search for their father, but it will happen. At least one.
Never paid me. Another word for deception there. Just. Whenever you hear a word just, dig in around what's being said. Very often it's been used to direct our attention onto one thing while there's a lot more happening. But they're saying, just this one thing happened, and that's all I want you to look at, whereas there's a lot.
Chief Information Officer of a small credit union.
More to the story. He just never paid me. I think there was a lot more going on there, and there was a whole lot of litigation going on there. It's not that he just didn't pay. There was a whole lot more going on, as Wendy explains. And so we have ongoing litigation where I filed a motion in court to have him pay me what he said he would. And he filed a counter motion for sanctions against my attorney because he thought she did something wrong, which she didn't. But so, I mean, she withdrew from the case, and she was going to serve as a witness. Now, I didn't notice this at the time I was doing the analysis. This is what I love about statements like this. More and more comes to me all the time. And when I was listening to that there, she was going to serve as a witness. She's not going to anymore. For some reason in Wendy's head, this lawyer that has withdrawn from the case was going to serve as a witness. That means that they aren't anymore. Now, I don't know the ins and outs. Is it that this didn't happen anymore, or this person's not needed as a witness? Or does Wendy think there is not going to be any more litigation because Dan has been shot? Well, Dan's not dead at the moment this is happening. So this person could still serve as a witness. Or maybe this case will still go on because Dan's estate will be there or something like that. But for some reason, she thinks not litigation is over, but she thinks this person is not going to serve as a witness anymore. So she's not going to lash out at him for it. She's using the legal process to do it. Let's rewind all of this because this is a bit nuts. This started off talking about was there abuse because is that why your family are mad at Dan? And she explains there was no abuse, but this was very testy, ongoing litigation with all sorts of stuff going on. It was a real messy situation. And then she disqualifies her attorney from being involved in the shooting here. She's not going to lash out at him. She's using the legal process to do it. So she was lashing out at him in some ways. She's just not going to do it by being involved in the shooting of Dan Markel. But again, Wendy, again going, this is someone who wants to get at Dan. He annoyed people enough to get shot. Then she brings her parents up again. She hasn't been asked about this, but even, my parents are, very angry towards him. But even when they're around my kids, they would never say a bad word about my kid's father. They really, really careful about that. They dislike him, but they know he's the father of my kids. So obviously, they obviously said bad words about him a lot. And she says that they were very angry towards him, but they would never say it in front of the kids. Now, that is not real solid evidence that these guys could not have been involved in commissioning the shooting or shooting Dan Markel. The fact they were nice around the kids. But this just seems to be the best thing that she can offer here. They would never do that. Two nevers. They would never do that. She doesn't say what that is, by the way. I don't know who would be angry enough with him to do something like this.
That's a great point, Janet. She says, when she tells Isom about the message Dan left her, she slips and says, when we listen to the message, who is we? And Never True Word mentions we watched a short. He'll talk about the red flags that she says when she found out Dan may not be dead with that victim advocate, whatever you want to call her. I rolled my eyes because whatever. She said, well, that's a game changer. And then you go to Debbie Martin's comment when she calls Donna, tells Donna, sit down, blah, blah, blah. She hangs up too quickly. Donna calls her back. And Wendy goes on to say, hey, could you call Charlie and let him know? Not Charlie and Rob, just Charlie. And then Debbie Martin's like, well, I think she called Donna to let her know that Dan was not yet dead.
So once more, it's only in her head that Dan has been shot because of anger. Robbery just doesn't come into her head whatsoever. Wrong place, wrong time, mistaken identity. None of these things come into her head. It's all about anger.
This is not the Veriscope guy. He's separate.
And the detective decides now's the time to ask some questions about Charlie, the brother you're real close to. I have to do a lot of elimination at the same time. The brother that you're really close to, the one that joked about the TV and everything. That means Hitman, code for Hitman there. What did you say his name was? Charlie. Charlie, and he's in Fort Lauderdale? Yeah, says Wendy. And this is a yes-no question. He's in Fort Lauderdale. This is how yes-no questions are normally answered when, truthfully, it's just a yes or a no. Yeah, okay.
So when Harvey dies, whoever the power of attorney will be, which will likely be one of their attorneys, will pay their commissary out of the trust if there's money left.
Tell me what kind of car he has. He has like 5 cars, and the detective says, can you tell me all of them? He drives, I think one of them is an unmarked police car. He's a bit of a character. So I don't know what he's driving at the time, is what Wendy says. 5 cars, he's driving one of them at the time. At the time, well, what time? I'm guessing this is the time of the shooting. And for some reason, once more, Wendy is into Charlie potentially being involved. It's not he was at work at the time or anything like that, or he told me he was just about to go into surgery. He was driving a car at the time, and she realizes like Charlie and the time of the shooting go hand in hand. Right, says the detective. But I'll tell you, he's a periodontist, and he has this practice where he works from early in the morning to late at night. So if you ever wanted to find his whereabouts, he's working all day long. She's giving alibis now or resume statements where, look, he's a hard-working guy. He works from early in the morning to late at night, a periodontist, so someone who has studied hard, is very clever, very knowledgeable. So look, this is like a character witness and an alibi all in one. Until early in the morning to late at night, always driving to a different office, working. So this is like her saying, this is character witness time. None of this is he didn't do it. I know he didn't do it. I know he wouldn't do it. It's like, this is alibi for him. He's always working. Oh, he goes to different offices, says the detective. Yeah, he works at different places all over South Florida, does implants for people, and he works really hard all the time. He has a girlfriend, so he's pretty much accounted for all the time. So she's offering up here like this sort of character statement there for Charlie, but it's weak. He has a girlfriend, so he's pretty much accounted for all the time. Now, that's interesting. Again, thinking back to, my sister, I would never say my sister's accounted for all the time. I know lots about what she does. I know how hard my sister works. I know lots about her pastimes. I know lots of people she spends time with, but I would never say, oh yeah, she's accounted for all the time. Strange, strange, strange. Just lumping in Charlie and criminality here. So here, once more, Wendy's focus is on anger and upset being the motive for the shooting. She talks for a long time about these legal problems, much more fluidly than she mentioned the hitman earlier, by the way, although there was still some stopping and starting and self-correcting as she went there. Now, I found it quite boring. I found it way too detailed there, but I wonder if that is, again, it could be the trauma, or it could be the fact that what we've got going on here is something that she feels really comfortable talking about, setting out all these legal travails that the pair of them had. It could be that. That could be the reason why she feels the need to talk for a long time about that. It's quite easy to do. It's all documented as well, so this can be checked against, you know, the filings and the motions and so on can all be checked against actual filings and motions. And she's giving Charlie alibis already. He works very hard. Don't know what kind of car he had. He's a great guy. He's got a girlfriend. He's accounted for. It's all very strange. Now, we do still have that game changer one to come where she talks about what a game changer it is that Dan has not been killed. That is fascinating, and that is still to come. But let's get some more inside the police interview with Wendy Adelson.
If, you know, and you're not under arrest or anything like that.
I understand why you
But
think
I-
I'm
but-
the primary suspect.
No, you're not the primary suspect. I have to work just as hard, whether you were or you're not,
Okay, I
Okay.
understand.
to show what your activities were,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And let's put it this way, I think you're a straightforward person, and I think at this point, if you had anything to do with this, you'd have already told me,
Okay.
and you haven't. So
Is it the investigator's job, which I already know the answer to that, to blow smoke up someone's ass? But I know the answer to that.
my thing is that let's let the,
My ex-husband caused me a lot of grief. I would never do something like this.
I know.
A normal person does not cry like this. It's not even a cry. It's a fake cry.
And it's
So I
gonna,
understand why I would
Okay.
be the person you would think would do something,
well,
but
we have to work just as hard to eliminate people.
it's fine. I want to figure out who this is because I'm honestly worried.
Well, let me ask you, if you found out that this was someone that you personally know, would that change your mind about what should happen to that person
About what should happen to that person?
for prosecution purposes?
No.
Is there any way that you would think
if
somebody
somebody tried to kill my ex-husband, they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
regardless of who it is?
I mean, it would be
Notice she said tried to kill. I just caught that. She said tried to kill.
different if I thought it were my brother, but I don't think it was my family. Anyone outside my immediate family, that's a tough one. But
Okay.
I don't think my immediate family did this. So
Okay.
if it's anybody else, yeah.
Okay. Would you think that this guy Charlie would even be capable of doing something like this?
No. No.
Let's just talk.
He's the Joker.
Okay. All right.
Please tell me you spotted the question to the question there. We'll go through it. The detective says, you're not under arrest or anything like that. Wendy says, I understand why you think I'm the primary suspect. No, you're not the primary suspect, says the detective. I have to work just as hard whether you were or not. Okay, I understand, says Wendy. To show what your activities were, and let's put it this way, I think you're a straightforward person, and I think at this point, if you had anything to do with this, you'd have already told me. And Wendy says, okay. She interrupts kind of a little bit and says, okay. What she doesn't do is reaffirm that she had nothing to do with this. Even at the beginning there, she's saying, I understand why you think I'm the primary suspect. She's not saying, but believe me, I had nothing to do with it. There's no denial offered up at all. It's just an okay at that point. The detective says, and you haven't. So my thing is that let's let the... And Wendy interrupts with something that she hasn't been asked to provide, so she's just going to offer this up. My ex-husband caused me a lot of grief. I would never do something like that. This is worth breaking down. My ex-husband caused me a lot of grief. She is putting a little label on the guy who's just been shot there. He's not Danny, the kid's father. He's my ex-husband. That's how she is labeling him there. There's a lot of distance to that label there. Certainly the fact that he's
Point.
currently lying in hospital, in ICU,
That's a
getting,
great
trauma
point.
care and everything like that, doesn't soften the way that she.
That is a fabulous point. My ex-husband. Like I say about my ex-husband, I'll say, because I try to be funny about it. It was my first ex-husband. He's my only ex-husband. But I always refer to him as my first ex-husband. I rarely give him a name. Okay. Like rarely. Even to my kids, I'll be like your dad. I didn't realize that till this minute. But he's still alive. So there's that. But I really do say that. I rarely say his name out loud. That is hilarious.
refers to him. He's my ex-husband, and that's going to become important when we hear her called Donna in a bit. My ex-husband caused me a lot of grief. I would never do something like that. So she says, I would. Doesn't quite finish that off. She has to think about what it is that she wants to say.
You don't know why I insert first ex-husband? Because it's funny. Because people think I have like 3. It came from my dad. Oh, my parents were married 66 years. So my dad would be, he would introduce my mom as his first wife, and they were married for like 64 years. And he would be like, this is my first wife. So it's just a thing. So I just call him my first ex-husband, even though he's my only ex-husband. It's supposed to be witty.
I would never, we've got that word never again, do something like that. We've got that softening severity. It's not, I had nothing to do with his shooting. It's, I would never do something like that. So I understand why I'd be the person you would think would do something, but the detective says, well, we have to work just as hard to eliminate people. It's fine, says Wendy. I want to figure out who this is because I'm honestly worried. Once more, she wants to figure out who this is. She doesn't think that, randomness or, I want to help solve this, or if there's anyone that could have done it, I would want to figure it out. She's only fixated on the fact that someone did this who she knows. I want to figure out who this is. It's not, I want to figure out what happened. I want to help you get to the bottom of this, or I want to get to the bottom of this. I want to figure out who this is because doesn't finish the I've thought either. I'm honestly worried. That word, honestly, another red flag.
But my ex-husband can't say my first ex-wife. Okay. So there were numerous in there.
Deception. It's a persuasive word. If she just said, I'm worried, it would mean the same thing, but she has to persuade us how worried she is. I'm honestly worried. Trust me, I'm worried. I'm honestly worried. Well, let me ask you, says the detective, and this is a great question. It catches people out a lot. If you found out that this was someone that you personally know, would that change your mind about what should happen to that person? And here we have the question to the question.
You think she calls herself the widow Adelson? I am the widow Adelson. Like it's 1870.
Thinking time. Whoa. What should happen to that person if it's someone I know? About what should happen to that person? As she says, it's question to a question there. This is buying her thinking time for what the hell is the right answer to this. The detective says for prosecution purposes. No, says Wendy. So she's thought about that and she delivers a yes, no answer. No, but she had to buy some thinking time to deliver that. So it's not quite as convincing for me as a straightforward no. If someone was doing this, they should face justice. I mean, if somebody tried to kill my ex-husband, they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. I mean, if somebody tried to kill my ex-husband, now this is saying, that someone has tried to kill him. Again, this is saying that Wendy said this was all about killing Dan. This wasn't about power to frighten someone, an accidental discharge even. It's if somebody tried to kill my ex-husband, they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Not they should go to jail for the rest of their lives. Not they should face the death penalty or anything like that. Just they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Potentially that's the lawyer in her coming forward and saying that, prosecution is enough and I trust the legal system, that the legal system will get the just deserves for that person. But it is only they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And the detective pushes a little bit harder, regardless of who it is. And then this is fairly damning. I mean, it would be different if I thought it were my brother, but I don't think it was my family. What she's saying there, in her own words, is that if her brother was involved in the shooting, trying to kill her ex-husband, he shouldn't be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. That is what is coming out of her mouth. That is the words that she said at that time. That if Charlie was involved in trying to kill her husband, ex-husband, then he shouldn't be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. But I don't think it was my family. Notice there that it is, she mentions it were my brother, but then she widens it out to family. Then she misspeaks, I think. I mean, anyone outside my immediate family, that's a tough one. I think what she means is if it's my immediate family, what should happen to
Wait a
them,
minute.
that's a tough
Wait a minute. By that logic, murder, remember Puss in Boots and Gibbers was a play on don't come at me, bro. It was a play on Jew in Boots. So in this case, it would be Wendy the widow. It would be Wibbers. Wibbers. Wibbers.
one. But I don't think anyone in my immediate family did this. So if it's anyone else, yeah. So again, this is coming out from her that if it's her family that's involved in this, prosecution to the full extent of the law, not as important as if it was someone that she doesn't know. Okay, would you think this guy Charlie would even be capable of doing something like this? And she says no. It's a yes/no question, and we get that no right there. Now, what is going on there? Is it that this is an honest answer that she doesn't think Charlie would be capable of doing anything like this?
Or if she used Jill, it would be Gibbers.
Or is it this thing that I see going on with the Adelsons quite a lot, which is like they hired hitmen, they hired intermediaries, they hired hitmen, so they don't think that they really were involved in murdering someone. Someone else did the murder stuff. Someone else pulled the trigger, and therefore they have some distance. And they're not really murderers. They just got rid of a problem. Just talk, says the detective. He's a joker, says Wendy. So in this part here, where we look at what is going on when Wendy is really digging into herself and her family, once more, the focus is on her family. This is exactly where she goes, you know, like every time she's asked about this, she just zooms in on her family. She definitely thinks it's highly likely her family were involved in this. It's where her focus is with it. She brings up family and connection all the time. It's not the detective that does that at all. She feels some justification of her family's actions. I'm pretty damn sure of that. So we know Donna has recently been jailed for the murder of Dan Markel. So what happens when Wendy phones her mom to tell her that Dan has been shot? That is on the way. Do you ever get that gut feeling that someone's holding something back or not giving you the full story? Kind of like what's going on with Wendy here then. You're not paranoid, you are perceptive in my opinion, because most people don't see the clues hiding in plain sight when you look at someone's words. But you don't have to. I'll show you how to hear what's really being said and what isn't being said as well, because every case I break down on this channel will sharpen your instincts and change how you hear conversations forever. So if you are ready to see through the noise and understand what's really being said, hit subscribe to get more like this. Hit like or follow to help this get to more people as well. Step inside this world of really hearing what is being said. And do you know someone who keeps getting misled? Do send this or send this channel their way. You might just change the way they see the world too. Let's get back into the interview room. And this is Wendy phoning Donna.
If I can't reach them. Hi, Mom. How's it going?
Debbie Martin, this is your moment.
Mom, I need you to sit down. I am fine. The boys are fine. I need you to sit down. I'm fine, and the boys are fine. Danny has been. You can put me on speaker.
She's very calm, by the way.
Yeah. Danny has been shot. And I don't think he's gonna make it. And so I know. So I found this out around 1 or 2 today, and I'm at the police station, and I'm trying to help them figure out who may have done this. The boys are fine. I had Lynn and Alan pick them up from school, and they're with Lynn and Alan right now. And I'm gonna leave here soon and go be with them. But I really need you to come here and be with me. But I want you to either fly, if you, I mean, obviously you can't leave right now, but I need you to get yourself together. If it's too much to drive, I'd really rather that you flew up. I'm at the police station, and I'm gonna leave soon and be with the boys before they go to bed. They're with Alan and Lynn, and they're totally fine. Yeah, the boys are fine, but they don't know anything yet.
Debbie, that is a huge point. On speaker.
In his house. I know. I know. So I just need you to calm down before you get in the car, okay? Okay, so, and it's, you know, it's evening, so if you want to come here tomorrow, I have a lot of people that'll, you know, be here with me, and, you know, we'll have a lot of support. So I want you
You know.
to take your time and just be safe in getting here, but I'd like you to come when you can, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I love you. I think Jane might, I have the car here, but Jane might take me. I'm not gonna be alone, so I have a lot of support and I'll be fine. Yeah, if you could just come here, that would be great. He's in the ICU in the hospital. Okay, but be careful, okay? Okay. Okay. Okay, love you too. Bye. Mom. Oh.
You did awesome.
Donna does call back with because she heard the mom as she was hanging up, and we will look at that in a bit. But let's break down this call.
Is it the victim advocate's job to congratulate the ex-wife of the murder victim about how well they did on a phone call? I just don't like her. I don't.
Sadly not on speakerphone, so we can't hear everything that Donna said there, but we can hear bits and bobs. Hi, Mom, how's it going? Says Wendy, kind of nonchalantly at the start of the call. Now, Donna does reply. I don't know what she says. I can't make it out. I do hear her mention shower, though. How's it going? I'm just at the shower. You dance in the shower. There's something going on about showers in there, which code words? I don't know. Mom, I need you to sit down. I am fine. The boys are fine. Says Wendy. Donna replies and maybe includes the word sure in there. Wendy says, I need you to sit down. I'm fine, and the boys are fine. Danny has been, and Donna interrupts at this point. So she refers to him as Danny, not ex-husband, which she was doing earlier, or him or anything like that. It's that softer when she's talking to her mom. Danny has been. Donna interrupts. And then that you can put me on speaker, says Wendy. Yeah. Danny has been shot, and we hear Donna say, "What?" Give that woman an Oscar. And then we hear "what" again from Donna, even though, as we know, she's fully aware of what was going to happen, if not what had happened. And Wendy says, "And I don't think he's going to make it. And so I know. So I found this out around 1 or 2 today." Now, the focus here is really on Wendy. Now, Dan's the one that's been shot. He's the one that's in urgent care and getting treatment. But she's talking about herself. I don't think he's going to make it. She's been told this, I think, by the police there. But it's not, we don't think he's going to make it. It's just, I don't think he's going to make it. Not saying there's anything suspicious about that. This is just Wendy talking about Wendy. And so I know. So I found this out around 1 or 2 today. So again, I'm not saying this is suspicious, but it shows you where Wendy's thoughts are at. Not when Dan was shot, but when she found this out. I also know.
Oh my God. That's brilliant.
noticed that, you know, in terms of like telling your mom that your ex-husband has been shot, your ex-husband who had custody of the kids that day, she doesn't say anything about where it happened, when it happened. You know, so this was this morning at his house. This was after he dropped the kids off at school, so they weren't around. There was no danger to the kids. She doesn't impart any of that information at all. That is interesting to me, that she doesn't feel the need to tell her mom that where this happened, when this happened, and the proximity of the children who were with Dan overnight.
Dawn, I'll go over that before we end tonight. I'll go over that before we end.
And with Dan that morning, she doesn't have to tell her mom any of those things at all. And I'm at the police station and I'm trying to help them figure out who may have done this. We have this focus again on this, Wendy being able to help them figure out who may have done this. Again, not, I don't know what's happened, not, could be a robbery gone wrong or anything like that. It's just who may have done this. The boys are fine. I had Lynn and Alan pick them up from school and they're with Lynn and Alan right now. And I'm going to leave here soon and be with them. So she doesn't mention any of the logistics, like the boys not being there, when or where it happened. She does, as you notice though, have a focus on the boys being fine. She keeps saying this, the boys are fine. However, it's not the boys are fine because they weren't there, or the boys are fine, they don't know what's happened. It's just the boys are fine. But I really need you to come here and be with me. But I want you to either fly. I mean, obviously, you can't leave right now, but I need you to get you.
Wendy finds any reason to have other people raise her kids. I know I'm not Wendy. Thank God. But when I'm through trauma, the last thing I want is 100 people around me. Not this bitch. She wants everybody and their brother to support her and be with her and run errands for her.
Together. If it's too much to drive, I'd really rather you flew up. Where are you now, sweetheart? Asked Donna. We heard that bit. I'm at the police station. You've already been told that, but I would understand she might not have heard all of that. And I'm going to leave soon and be with the boys before they go to bed. They're with Alan and Lynn, and they're totally fine. Yeah, the boys are fine, but they don't know anything yet. So there's real focus on the boys being fine, but not the boys not being there when it happened. Not even, you know, any logistics of where it happened have come up.
Right, Dana? Exactly. No talk of his injuries or if he's conscious. No one said any of that. Nothing. Is he okay? Is he going to be okay? Will he live? Will he die? Where was he shot? Who shot him? Was it a drive-by? Was it what? No questions, no curiosity. And we are still waiting for this bitch to be arrested. No curiosity on any of their parts.
Yet. And where did this happen? Asks Donna. In his house. I know, says Wendy. I'm interested in why in his house. Does she know that it happened inside his garage? Is that where it happened? I'm not 100% sure. But I understand it. I wouldn't describe where it happened as in his house. Does Wendy know exactly where it happened from everything else there? I'm just curious as to why she says in his house. So I need you to calm down before you get in the car, okay? Okay. So and it's, it's evening, and so if you want to come here tomorrow, I have a lot of people that will, be here with me, and we'll have a lot of support. So I want you to take your time and just be safe in getting here. But I'd like you to come here when you can, okay? Yeah, says Donna. Okay, all right, love you. Then we hear Donna talking. And then I think Jane might, I have a car here, but Jane might take me. I think Donna is asking, can you get someone to drive you? I'm not going to be alone. So I have a lot of support and I'll be fine. Yeah, if you could get here, that would be great. And Donna says, we'll come as soon as we can. When you say he may not make it, where is he? When you say he may not make it, where is he? Not when you say you may not make it, what happened? How is he? Donna just wants to know where he is. He may not make it. Where is he? He's in the ICU in the hospital. Okay, we're going to get there as soon as we can, says Donna. Okay, but be careful. Okay.
Side note for those of you in America who lives are being grossly affected by the Senate. 8 Democrats just voted with the Republicans to open the government. Once that's done, there's 48, which it won't take this long, but they have 48 hours for the House to pass it and then Trump to sign it. So the government will reopen. Praise God, because they were ready to shut down the entire skies by Thanksgiving, which you can't even blame them.
Okay, love you too, bye. And then she says, Mom, because there's something else that she wants to say to her, which we will get to. And then the victim advocate, which is the person sitting next to Wendy, says, you did awesome with that call. Wendy says, thanks. So in that call there, I mean, Oscar.
Why would you do that? Why would you say, you did a great job? Why are you giving kudos to someone who could? This is where I go to. I know it's not the same, but the murder of Lori Page, the little girl that I helped search for, and they're like, oh, he has a missing daughter. Fuck all y'all. What? Turns out he was a pedophile and a murderer. He raped her, got her pregnant, and then murdered her. But it's like the poor father. What is Susan Smith? We learned nothing from Susan Smith. We have learned nothing from that woman who drove those two boys into that pond, ran out of the car and let the car float. Nothing from that murderer. Nothing. We believe everything these fucking losers have to say. Why is this person, who thank God no longer has a job, treating her as if she is a victim instead of a possible suspect, and a likely suspect being the ex-wife? I don't understand it. I'm telling you, I don't know. I want to know. I got to find out if Polk County is the same way, because you know I love Grady Judd. Could this be the atmosphere in Leon County Courthouse? Is the atmosphere in every courthouse that the victim advocate blows smoke and licks her twat while she's lying to her mother?
For
Anybody
Donna, because
know?
what? Great acting when you've been involved in it. Real big focus on the boys are fine in that call. Low focus on Dan, and low focus on getting across any of the logistics which have happened, which have been involved, including just reassuring her.
You didn't hear that victim advocate testify at Donna's trial, did you? She testified on the defense's side.
In fact, not just the boys are fine, but they weren't there when it happened. Interesting in that call. That game changer comment is still to come from Wendy. We will break that down. But as Wendy is talking, Mom calls back because she realized.
I say I love you every time I call. So much so that I say I love you to the wrong people. If you call me and I just got off the phone with my daughter, likely I will say I love you at the end of the phone call. So
Wendy wasn't finished talking yet, and what Wendy has to say is very interesting indeed.
That call. You were so stressed out about it and you handled it.
I just wanted you, I talked to Alan, okay? And just because, my suggestion to him, just because we don't know what's going on, was if he goes to the house.
Sorry, my mom might be calling back because she heard me. Mom? You did, yeah. I just wanted to ask if you could just tell Charlie for me. I just don't want to be making calls right now, so if you could just tell Charlie for me, that would be great. Okay, and just, like, it's on the news a little bit that there was a shooting on Trescott, and so I'm starting to get a lot of calls, and I'm not going to be answering them unless they're from you, so I would really try not to tell anybody what's going on just yet, just because, like, he's in the hospital, and Charlie, I talked to Charlie earlier today, obviously before any of this happened. Like, I talked to him at like 10 this morning, and we do not know specifically where Harvey's phone was. Not yet, anyway. Hopefully we'll know. He said that he was coming to visit you guys this weekend, and he had plans, and he sounded good. I just can't, Mom. So can you just tell him? Yeah. She got one call. It was a voicemail from her real estate agent. Just tell him for me, and then I'm sure I'll talk to him soon. But I don't want to be on the phone unless I have to right now. Okay? Okay. All right. Love you too. Bye. My mom handled that pretty well. Could you hear her? Yeah.
She set a new record there for the amount of times the word just was used per minute. You were so stressed about it and you handled it well, says the victim advocate. I just want to talk to Alan, okay? And just because it was my suggestion to him, just because we don't know what was going on, says one of the police people there. What if he's going to the house and then the phone rings and Wendy says, sorry, Mom might be calling me back because she heard me. She picks up the phone. She says, Mom, you did. Yeah. I just wanted to ask if you could just tell Charlie for me. I just don't want to be making calls right now. So if you could just tell Charlie for me, that would be great. Now, that word just indicates deception, minimizing, drawing focus to one place, turning down things is in full effect here. So, 4 justs in that really one paragraph intro to the call. I just wanted to ask if you could just tell Charlie for me. I just don't want to be making calls right now. So if you could just tell Charlie for me, that would be great. Not her normal speech pattern. We've seen a couple of justs from her, but really this suggests to me some deception going on. Now again, this doesn't necessarily be deception that's Wendy was in on the plot and this is what's going on. Could be, but it could just be that she is hiding her reasons for not wanting to speak to Charlie for some reason there with all these justs. Okay, and I'll stop pointing out the just now because there's so many of them.
She does
And
say
just like
just a lot. When you watch that witch give those horrible speeches, horrible speeches. Who would pay her to give a speech other than they want to look at a murder or give a speech? She says just, and in front of public people who are educated, likely more than her. She can't help herself. She is illiterate and incompetent when it comes to public speaking. Absolutely horrible.
on the news a little bit that there was a shooting in Trescott, and so I'm starting to get a lot of calls, and I'm not going to be answering them unless they're from you. So I would really try not to tell anybody about what's going on just yet, just because he's in the hospital. And Charlie, I talked to Charlie earlier today, obviously before any of this happened. Whose benefit is that for? Whose benefit is that? I talked to Charlie before any of this happened. Please don't think I talked to Charlie after this happened, because that would look suspicious. Is this for the benefit of the police people watching? Charlie, I talked to Charlie earlier today. Obviously, convincing word, before any of this happened. I talked to him at 10 this morning. This feels like storytelling. This doesn't feel like for the benefit of Donna about when the conversation was. This feels like for the benefit of the tape, basically. I talked to him before any of this happened. I haven't spoken to him after any of this happened, because that would be a little bit more suspicious. But I talked to him at 10 this morning, and he said that he was coming to visit you guys this weekend, and he had plans, and he sounded good. Great. I mean, this is real pales into insignificance, I think, compared to what's happening to Dan right now. But she just wants to, I don't know, get across again for the benefit of the tape. This was just a casual call about weekend plans and so on. More justs. I just can't, Mom. So can you just tell him? Yeah, just tell him for me, and then I'm sure I'll talk to him soon. But I don't want to be on the phone unless I have to right now. Okay. All right. Love you too. Bye. And then Wendy says, my mom handled that pretty well. Could you hear her? And the victim advocate says, yeah. My mom handled that pretty well. It's a really simple thing, unless she's talking about the whole phone call. Maybe she is, but it's just a request to let Charlie know. But for some reason, why does Wendy not want to talk to Charlie? It feels to me like the justs are turning this into something that is she's got bigger reasons for it, or she's calling her mom for another reason. But hopefully that Donna gets, I don't know, the code, the implication. I don't know. That's what could be happening here. I just don't want to talk to Charlie just now. Is it? I need to distance myself from Charlie, and I hope you're getting that implication, Mom. Don't know, but it's very, very, very strange. So in that part there, was the message just a sort of implicit, I'm not talking to Charlie, Mom, and you need to know. But again, Charlie comes up unprompted. I talked to him this morning. It was around 10 o'clock, obviously before any of this happened. It's really not baffling. I've got several ideas as to why that part of the phone call could happen, but the number of justs suggests to me we're not getting the full story there. There's something more going on. So this is Wendy talking to the victim advocate and hearing something from the victim advocate that, well, makes her say something very strange indeed.
They have some fleeting concept of
Okay.
things like God
I know
and
heaven.
heaven. I mean, I don't know.
And let me just kind of back. I'm not sure what investigator Isom kind of told you. You know that he's still alive.
No, I didn't know that.
Okay. He's.
Is he possibly gonna make it?
I don't know the answer to that. I know.
He made it sound like he was gone. So does that mean that he might be okay? You don't
I
know.
don't think, from what it sounds like, I don't think he'll be
The
the
same.
same.
Okay, but
If-
he might make it.
I don't
might
want
be-
to give you that false
I'm
hope.
sorry, I just
No,
thought
it's
he
okay.
was gone and now I don't know what to tell. It's sort of a game changer.
I know,
like-
and that's why I was kind of asking you.
I didn't know that. He
I
made
mean,
it
I
sound like
don't,
he made it sound like he was gone.
I don't think it's good though.
I know it's. I mean that's sort of what he said, but I assumed he was saying that like euphemistically.
And that's why I'm kind of at, because I didn't want, and I don't want to be misleading
Is
in
there
this
any way to
conversation.
find out if like because if he might be okay, like I want to bring the kids to him.
Wendy was told at the very outset when she got into the police interview room that Dan was not dead, but that he probably wouldn't make it. So here, it sounds like she's fishing for a little bit of information from this victim advocate. She's talking about the children here that she has. They have some fleeting concept of things like God, heaven. I mean, I don't know. The advocate says, and let me just kind of back. I'm not sure what Investigator Isom has kind of told you. You know that he's still alive. And Wendy says, no, I didn't know that. Now we've heard more of that where she was told that, yeah, he was still alive. She admits this later on in the conversation. This is why I think she's fishing for information. No, I didn't know that. Is he possibly going to make it? The advocate, and by the way, she's brilliant at tactfully answering questions. She says, I don't know the answer to that. I know. Then Wendy says, he made it sound like he was gone. So does that mean he might be okay? The advocate says, I don't think, from what it sounds like, I don't think he'll be the same. Okay, but he might make it, says Wendy, seemingly trying to mine information out of this. It's the third time she's asked the question. She says that does this mean that he might be okay? Is he possibly going to make it? And again, okay, but he might make it. 3 times she asks the will he make it question. Seems a really important one for her to get an answer to. The advocate says, I don't want to give you false hope. And then we have that line. I'm sorry, says Wendy. I just felt like he was gone. That felt like he was gone. So that's an admission, that she has heard that he's still alive, but she's talking like he's dead. And the advocate's saying, no, he might make it. I just felt like he was gone. And now I don't know what to tell. Doesn't finish that thought. It's sort of a game changer. Now, those 2 things there really pull me up short. I don't know what to tell who. I don't know what to tell the kids, might be what she's going to say. Well, I guess you tell them the truth there. I don't know what to tell. Well, this was before she called her mom. I've taken this slightly out of sequence. Is that I don't know what to tell my parents. I don't know what to tell Charlie. We don't know. We can't guess because she hasn't finished that thought. But she feels the need to tell someone that Dan is still alive and Dan may make it. Now her mindset has been changed a little bit. She says it's sort of a game changer. Now, don't know about you. Doesn't matter how much you don't like someone, unless you really want them dead.
But that doesn't mean that you wouldn't take the kids to go see him in the hospital, right? So she's saying the boys are too young for them to tell, but that doesn't mean that they don't get to see their dad. Like he was still alive. They could have cleaned him up a little bit, which they did, and then done that. It's easy, put a bandage on him, whatever. Oh, I just had a memory. I don't remember where I heard this. But it was something like after he was shot, she told the boys that he'd been in a horrible accident. I forget who told me that right now because it's been a couple years that I can remember that. But she told the boys he'd been in a horrible accident when they were little.
It's not a game changer that they may make it. It's great news. or such a relief, or please let that happen. It doesn't change the game. Unless you're playing a game, unless there's a game on, then it would change the game. And if the game is for Dan to be dead, it certainly would change the game. It's such a strange statement to use. I should give full credit to Julia Cowley of The Consult, the former FBI podcast, which is great. You should listen to that. It was her that spotted this line, game changer, and this 5 hours of interview. It just is so weird. But for me, that line just before it as well, I don't know what to tell, is interesting as well. This really seems to have pulled Wendy up short. She seems to be mining for information. She doesn't seem to be truthful about what she knows. That seems to change as this passage goes on. It's sort of like a game changer. She said, the advocate says, I know, and that's why I was kind of asking you. I didn't know that, says Wendy. He made it sound like he was gone. So what? Made it sound like he was gone, didn't tell me he was gone. I don't think it's good though. Says Wendy, that's sort of what he said, but I assumed he was saying that like euphemistically. And that's why I'm kind of at it, because I don't want to be misleading in this conversation, says the victim advocate. Is there any way to find out, says Wendy? She really wants an answer to this question. Is he going to be all right? It's like, because if he might be okay, like, I want to bring the kids to him. Interesting passage there, but that game changer line, wow, that may pull me up short. So there's a look at Wendy in the police interview, talking about Charlie, talking about Donna. I mean, I've got so many red flags there. The fact that she doesn't entertain any possibility other than Dan was shot because someone was angry with him. The fact she mentions her family time after time after time after time. The fact she's not 100% straight there, trying to elicit some information about the condition of Dan as well. That really, really bugs me. And that line, game changer. You only change the game if you're playing a game. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. If you can, or get in touch on social media. You'll find all the links at neveratruerword.com. And if Adelsons are your thing, then do check out neveratruerword.com as well, because there's a whole lot of podcasts or video episodes looking at the Adelson family and the murder of Dan Markel, including Charlie and including Donna as well. And Donna's trial got a lot of coverage. Lots more Wendy as well. You'll find it all at Never a Truer Word.
Please go like and subscribe. Please. Never truer word. Yeah, reviewing the tapes never get old. Do you remember what he said about the FBI person? What the name of that show is? See if he has a transcript. I like to do this because Julia Kiley, the former FBI. So her name is Julia Kiley. I don't see it. I'll have to look that up later. Anybody, the consult, Julia Crowley. Thank you, True Crime Wifey. The consult, Julia Crowley. It's an accent.
It's 2025 and a new year.
Interesting. Okay.
It's 2025 and a new year means brand new.
God, I hate that. I hate when you click on a video and it auto starts. I wish I could figure that out. Well, thank you, Forensic. Didn't wash my hair. It's a podcast. Oh, okay. Thank you. I doubt Wendy anticipated there being 5+ hours. Oh, it's like when I think, my opinion is that when Donna W72841 was arrested, she thought she was bailing out. That's why she went so willingly. She thought she was bailing out and going home the next day. She didn't know that was the last free air she would ever breathe. That's just me. I noticed Judy and A has a guest coming up who is controversial to say the least. I've never heard of him. How do you know he's controversial? I hate to state the obvious. Let's see. Who is it? Should he go to law school? A celebrity comedian go to law school. Is that who you mean? Or lawyer bankruptcy? Which one? God. Bankruptcy Ben. Lawyer Ben Hirschborn and Judy. Convicted murder restitution bill. Whether it can, will be. Oh, that should be interesting, though. It's about her restitution. Check the live comments. His name, oh, Stuttering John. Oh, I know who that is. Yeah, from Howard Stern. Thank you for his real name. Never heard of him because you probably didn't listen to Howard Stern. Yeah, Georgia told me that she told me because I asked the question. She's told me that she had several threads from WhatsApp. They're saying wild stuff about, hold on, let me go to it. Stuttering John. Oh, it's already there. He's in that. Oh, let me show you. I forget that people can comment before live starts. I know you guys do. Says he's not a celebrity or a comedian. He's an alcoholic. He left his kids with no child support for 8 months during a divorce. He admits to doing illegal drugs. I'm disappointed in you. Come on. My eye roll is so intense, it hurts my head. I'm disappointed because you have a conversation with somebody that you would disagree with. Why do people get so invested that you can only talk to this type of people? You can't talk to that type of people. Why? I don't think I'll ever understand this. Not since before COVID. I do not understand it. I'm so a stranger is disappointed in somebody. News at 11. I don't get it. I do not get it. Who are you? I just. I'm not talking about you, patriotic. I'm reading the comments. I didn't comment on whether she should speak. I said no, he should not go to law school, but let's talk about it for sure. Yeah, I'm not talking that any of you said it. I'm reading this. This Navid somebody Ava. That's what I was reading. If somebody tells me to do better, they're gone. You are not the judge and the jury. Like whoever this person is, Navid somebody, no. When people say do better, honestly, they become punchable. It's like telling me to calm down. Do better. Who the fuck are you? You you've come to like loophole lawyer despite his racism. I don't know if he should be an attorney or not. I don't know enough about him to understand anything. It's not the point. She's having a conversation. It's like Kim Kardashian. She has spent, bless her heart, years trying to be a lawyer without going to law school, and she's failed every time. Just go to fucking law school. It's too hard. You're not that smart. Brilliant in marketing, but maybe you not. It's your mother who's brilliant in marketing, who sold your soul, sold her daughters, literally her ass, to be famous. She literally sold the daughter's ass to be famous. Hands down, literally, on her knees. Go to law school if you want to be a lawyer. Do you know any people I know that have sold drugs in the state of Florida that tried to get a real estate license and couldn't get it? No, if he actually sold drugs and was convicted for it, he should not be allowed to be an attorney. If you can't be a realtor, you shouldn't be an attorney. Okay, let's face it. But who the God? It's, if you don't, I just don't get it. I don't. How this person believes that this person relies on this person. She also has a full-time job. If she wants to have the most controversial person on there, she can do better. Here we go. Shame on you for platforming him. Nobody ever changes, do they? Nobody ever should have an opportunity, should they? Nobody ever should give a side. The only side you should read is TMZ's side. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know enough about him. I just remember listening to Howard Stern early on. I haven't listened to him for a decade or more. But that does not mean the person should not be interviewed. These people in glass houses, my God in heaven. I can't even believe it. He goes, the sexual shit with Judy, saying if he loses his bet, Wendy doesn't get arrested by year's end. He's picking out the bathing suit top she's wearing. See, I think that's funny. I think that's funny. What did I hear? Oh, I think it was a football bet. That it was something similar to that, and they lost the bet, so they had to go do it. I just think everyone should give the host of their own show some grace, and she can interview who she likes. Balls to her to get the interview. I don't have the balls to ask for interviews, so balls to her. The balls are in her court because she has the balls to do it. I don't. But it's not funny. He wants her nude. Debbie, she's not going to get nude. Thank you, KJ. If you think for 1 second that Judy from AA Legal Focus is going nude, come on. It's never happened. I just think, come on, people? Judy, he assumes you will like green tea on your date with him for some reason. Gross that you're having a deadbeat owner. Well, now we know the sex of everybody who watches Judy. Be sure to ask John why he feels necessary to have info on people's kids and who gives him his info. You're bringing on a truly vile and repulsive person that has gone out of his way to harm people. Do yourself a favor and get away from him as quickly as possible. Okay, let's pretend that Stuttering John was Wendy Adelson and Judy got Wendy Adelson. Are you telling me that every one of us wouldn't turn in to that interview? And she's a hell of a lot more vile than Stuttering John ever would be. If you could get Harv on or any of the other smack ass Adelsons on, you telling me that we all would not tune in? Of course we would. And she is a hell of a lot more vile. She has a 40% pass rate. She does have balls. She gets people. I do need balls. I get so afraid. People are like, you should have this person on your show. I'm not asking them. I don't know who's asking them. I'm not. It's so funny. Like, I'm never asking them. So she bought a bikini for $7. I just think, God, you're so hard on people. Tater, look at that. This is Judy's channel. You're welcome to have your opinion, but please be respectful. Good for you. That's our Tater. Tater. I'm going to keep this up here. God. That's when I think I remember. I think I remember listening to them when I was at Temple. Can Patty, that's what somebody asked. I think Bling asked that. Talk about a vile human being. Hey, Shadrach, you want to come on? I don't even have the balls to ask Shadrach, who is a drug-addled felon. I don't even have the balls to ask him. Come on. I am horrible at this. Judy is our queen. She has the right to do better. I swear to God. This woman is so smart. No. Good night, ain't no holla back. You never listened to Howard Stern? Oh, back in the day, he was so funny. He was so funny back in the day. And then he wasn't. Oh, you want to do another New Year's with Max? Huh. Ask her. See, I don't even want to ask her. I don't even want to ask Max. That's funny. Good job, Tater. I really love her. And remember, Loophole knows Stuttering John from his show. It'll be a great stream. It will be. And all of these people who are being like little bratty about it, guess what? They're going to tune in. Just like if any of us got that heifer, fat ass, maggot, Jill on, everybody would tune in. They would be amazing numbers. He was on a Hartford station when you first moved. Anyway, you're talking to that vile person. You're giving that vile person. That's hilarious. Please ask whoever you want to be on your program on. It would be an honor. Oh, KJ, I just don't have the nuts. I don't know why. I don't like bothering people. I have a fear of I don't really have a fear of rejection. But I'm like, they're not going to come on my little, it's not little in my head. It's huge in my head. But in numbers wise, they may think it's little. I just go through the self-talk. Good night. That's what I'm saying, Candy. You know they're gonna listen. It's gonna be AI. That's funny too. That's funny. Rod Stewart's coming to your area. Have you seen him get up and dance? God almighty. Oh, he definitely has Joel's number. I mean, sorry. I think Loophole's funny. Just the look on his face while he's watching his own video behind him is so funny. Do I have virtue signaling while you tune in? So crazy. I do need an agent, J-Bug. I need because even Joel doesn't book his own people. Steve Cohen books his people. And I watched how Steve Cohen asked people to be on his show. It was very funny. How he did it in the courthouse. He's very clever how he gets around it. Balls are not that strong, if we're honest. Touche. I can do better than a heifer. Oh, yes, Audrey. Yes, I'll take up. Anybody wants to ask anybody to come on with me? I will send you a Starbucks gift card or whatever gift card you want. But honest to Pete, I really don't want to do it. No one is going to reject it. They reject me for my radio show, or worse yet. And I believe it's their own nerves on the radio show. I do believe it's their own nerves. They'll say yes and then call and be like, Patty, I'm too scared to come in. I'm like, dude, I was prepared for you. But it is what it is. If I may be so bold, I remember. Carl. I love some Carl. I wish he would. I don't know. I would be so nervous. So I love Carl Steinbeck, and we've had conversations on the phone, and I just love him. So I don't know how I would do. I would ask questions about his life, not so much the trial, because I think he has a fascinating story. Employment and commercial litigation. Patty, the other day I saw a short post that Wendy's friend Lynn Grossman worked for the Holocaust Survivor Artifact Recovery Center or similar. Do you know anything about this? I don't, but that would be. How did these people stay in touch with this woman? Oh, wait. Lynn Grossman is Alan and Lynn. I think she works with, no, I don't think it's her. Wait, let me see. There is another lady in town whose last name is Goldstein. I know she works for the Holocaust Museum here in Tallahassee. I've invited her on my radio show and then never. I know her husband. He's a real estate agent. She's an at-large. Barbara Goldstein is who I know. Hold on, let me show you too. I had to think about it. I apologize. So Barbara Goldstein is a wonderful woman. Her husband actually went to the trial the last day. I've known him for a long time. I know their son. And she works for the Holocaust Education Resource Council here. And then this is Lauren. I don't know Lauren. I know Susan Turner, more like I know of Susan Turner. Jared, of course, we know. I don't know Karen Cohen. And then this is Lynn Grossman. Her husband's an attorney. That was Alan and Lynn that she speaks so much of. MSW, FSU, moved to Miami. I do not believe, from what I know, which is very superficial, that the Grossmans and Wendy still have a relationship. I also do not believe the Goldsteins and Wendy still have a relationship. Ixnay on that. I don't know her. but I do know Bob. Lovely lady, lovely family. Yeah, I could get a handful of busybodies. Thanks, Net. Loophole is funny talking about his narcissist. I know. And how much she doesn't like him. Could I host Lauren True Crime to talk about the civil stalking order that she... Do you think she would? Because I made fun of her. I doubt it. I don't think she would. Vagina is stronger. Chill gibbers. That's so funny. We all do better than Wendelina, Juliana, Estrada, Santa Fe, Burrito, Carne Asada, Gonzalez. Oh, I do. I cannot ask people. I know I need to. I have another radio show coming up, which will be live. I have no problem responding to people. It's just the initiating. But remember, I don't like doing that in real life either. I don't like walking up to a stranger and going, "Hey, how are you? My name's Patty. What's your name?" Cannot do it. It's horrible. God, I hate it. Your husband caught a soccer ball. I have so much respect. I do too. Alan and Lynn Grossman. Forensic drives me nuts when people lose their opinion and identity when they marry someone else. Oh, yeah. Not me. Neither do the Greenbergs or no, they don't. Mm-mm. She may have a lot of relationships, but not currently with these same people. You think loophole lawyer would that means I would have to ask him. You're not listening to me. Oh, he seems friendly and he's already used you as one of the stars. He used my neck. Oh. John and Laura Matthias or KCL and Aaron Rickards. Patty, get a co-host. I would do it in a minute, but I don't want to ask. Patty, honestly, you're about to fly with this show. You totally can have guests. Aw, thanks, hon. Thank you. I just can't. I can. I have the ability, but I have the lack of ability. It's different. Top 5 guest list: Carl, John, Loophole, Judy, and oh, Todd Stewart. Yeah, be funny. Well, I hope you start small. Max, would you come on New Year's Eve with me? That's starting small. You would ask Loophole. Thanks, Sombix. I have a lovely neck. My neck is thinner in real life than what he portrayed. Thanks, Forensic. See, I have you all as co-hosts when you think about it, right? I think I'm the only one who does this, where you interact with the chat the entire 3 hours. So for me, the chat is the guest. Is that my cop out? That's my cop out. Lauren needs to hush. I'd ignore all that. Why even give attention to the drama? I don't even. You like Patty's format and style. It really is. Do I know Dream Boy? No, but I bet Bling is the new black. Wishes I did. No, I don't. No, Peter. Thanks, Audrey. You show other videos. That's co-hosting ish. But I do think the way I chat with the group is different than what most people do. But I'm going to go now because it's 10 and I have to go home. I'm going to try and come on one more live before I leave, but I can't guarantee it just because of work. You know how it goes it happens if you're in commission sales. You go on a vacation and in commission sales, you become busier than you have the previous 364 days. That's the way it is this week. Everything we have is under contract. Everything we have poor Scott needs a home inspection. We're super busy. So praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. It'll be a good year. I could do that. And his YouTube team. Buy song bits. You be safe going to the airport. I'm glad he's getting home. Sounds like a kind of chat up line. You have a lovely oh, try to fix my broken down car. Patty is unique. And she brings all of us together. I know. I love it so much. I try to explain it to my husband, but he's like, how can you do this for like 3 hours? I don't know. But thank you all for joining me. I have the best subscribers. Have a great night. I hope to see you this week. If not, I will see you when I'm in Venice. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.